The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
Why?
let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You ping!
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Feel-Good Friday, January 24th, 2025. This program starts now.
Football!
It is wonderful, and we are just hours away from championship weekend of the NFL season as the AFC will crown their champion and the NFC will crown their champion. Then those two will do battle down in New Orleans to see who is the world champion. Obviously, the NFC has the Washington Commanders, which is obviously a surprise, with a rookie quarterback, a rookie head coach. It's not his first time being a head coach.
But
first year there, new ownership, new offense coordinator, brand new vibes all over the place, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 6-point favorites at home. How are they going to be able to adjust to Jalen Hurts' knee injury?
Uh-oh.
You know, a little hip drop tackle potentially last week whenever he got rolled up on. How healthy will he be? How will that Eagles offense look? And will Saquon Barkley be able to run his way and his team to a Super Bowl? We shall see. And then the Buffalo Bills look to do something that they've never been able to do, which is beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs on the biggest stage, the AFC Championship. Two teams operating as buzzsaws in the AFC with history and legacy and titles on the line. It is going to be an absolutely phenomenal Sunday, kicking off at 3 o'clock on Fox. And then obviously the CBS game for the AFC Championship caps it off. Saturday night main event tomorrow night.
Yep.
Cannot wait for a fantastic weekend. We're lucky to be here. We can't thank you enough for allowing us to do this for a living. The Toxic Table's here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Conman, biggest story going into the weekend.
Linemen being hurt. I believe Juergens is out, or at least hasn't practiced for the Eagles, and of course Cosme for the Commanders. He tore his ACL, so he is definitely out this week, and I think that is a massive storyline, especially because Jalen Carter, arguably the greatest, defensive tackle in the history of football, at least definitely.
Aaron Donald will certainly have a conversation.
No doubt about it. Still, him being there against the Commies offense and kind of wreaking havoc, and then of course, the Eagles relying on Saquon, that run defense with the injuries that they got. Goddard, I believe, is another guy who's kind of questionable on the fence, whether he's playing or not. I think that's a huge storyline. And then of course, Josh Allen. Can he get it done?
Ty Schmidt, what's your big storyline?
I think it is Josh Allen. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. I mean, he could go from potentially, this is the best season he's had in his career, but if he doesn't win an MVP and they get beat, then what are we going to talk about? It's almost like it's all for naught. Can he get over the hump? Everyone knows about, Buffalo's postseason woes, not just against the Chiefs, but in general. So, I mean, I think that you either go from having all these personal accolades that you don't get, and you don't win a Super Bowl, or the Bills go on, they make the Super Bowl, potentially win it, and then who cares if you won an MVP? None of that stuff matters because it is about legacy.
Let's go to one half of the hammer. Cowboys, AP Tone. There's a rookie quarterback in the championship round. Jaden Daniels, who I just heard his mom give an interview, and I don't know when it's from. It's on Prime.
Yeah.
What's your biggest worry about Jaden? Women. He's going to be single. Okay, he's got some things to accomplish here. We're keeping the women away from him. She's his agent / momager / mom. I love everything about it. She's like, I'm going to protect my boy. Well, what they've done with Jaden over there in D.C. with Cliff Kingsbury as the OC, Terry McLaurin having obviously another highlight-filled career. His career is awesome.
Nasty.
And I'm so happy for him that he's got Jaden Daniels there. And I think going into this season, is Caleb Williams going to be the guy?
Yeah.
Is Drake May going to be the guy? Is Michael Penix going to be the guy? Is Bo Nix going to be the guy? Or is Jaden Daniels at LSU going to be the guy? He has too many weapons down there. What does he really want? He had to transfer, do that entire thing. LSU and not national champions. Is he going to be a guy or is he not going to? He is. and he is special. This has been an elite season. He has a chance to do something no rookie quarterback has ever done. Now, granted, he is obviously climbing the ranks of greatest rookie in the history of the NFL. I think people will talk about that regardless of how this game goes this weekend. But Jaden Daniels is special, and we get a chance to see it on Sunday.
Yeah, and he does have a chance to set history this weekend. I believe with a win this weekend, he will have the most wins in a rookie season, passing Ben Roethlisberger if he wins this weekend. Also, when you talk about rookie quarterbacks that have made it to this game, Ben being one of them, Joe Flacco being another one, there's a handful of others where they were on the team where they had like the number one points per game or yards per game defense. He is the 18th ranked yards per game, points per game defense. So like this is something that he's doing where it's not carried by the defense, it's carried by him, and he is setting records, and he's going for one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time.
Zach Ertz, obviously tight end, has become a massive piece for that Washington Commanders offense, and obviously Terry McLaurin, we talk about him, but what Jaden and that offensive line and Cliff have been able to do is mesmerizing. Feels like nobody wants the Eagles or the Chiefs to win.
What?
It does certainly feel like
feels
that.
like nobody wants the Eagles or the Chiefs to win. Feels like everybody wants the Chiefs to lose because the Chiefs is the Chiefs and the Chiefs is still the Chiefs. And until they lose in the playoffs, you can't say that they're no longer the Chiefs. And the dynastic run is certainly going to take a step higher if they win 3 straight Super Bowls. No team has ever done that in the modern era. Nobody wants the Chiefs to win. They're at the top of the mountain. You know, just like Taylor Swift says. People throw rocks at things that shine. And the Chiefs have been shining on the biggest stages for a long, long time now, especially during the 29-year-old Patrick Mahomes' career over there. He's been to the Super Bowl 5 times.
Absurd.
Already. As a 29-year-old. Certainly has lost a Super Bowl before. This guy stinks. Certainly won a bunch as well. Everybody wants the Bills, seemingly, to beat the Chiefs. And then when you think about this Commander story, it's like, I think football fans want the Commanders to win because you look just 1 year ago, they were shite. Absolute shite. We're talking about down in the pit, just like the Bengals a couple years ago. Remember the Bengals a couple years back before they make it to the Super Bowl and inevitably lose to the Los Angeles Rams in L.A. They were an absolute shite show. I mean, then Joe Burrow gets healthy for a season. They make it to the Super Bowl. Teams and fans around the country are like, wait, if they can do it, we can do it. If the Commanders are able to go from what they were, laughingstock, what it was like expose after expose, after book, after documentary, after lawsuit, after litigation, after everything. This team sucks. This team stinks. This team is a nothing franchise. This team should be kicked out of the league, Greg, is what people were saying about the Washington Commanders, formerly known as the Washington football team, formerly known as the Washington, what was the name of that?
J.J. Watt said it.
Yeah.
Oh, Redskins.
The Washington Redskins is what they were. The fans have been around for a long time, but they've been brutalized supporting that team for a very long time. Now, if you're a fan for another team that's kind of shite and kind of crap, you're like, all we are is one new ownership, one new head coach, one new quarterback away from potentially going to a Super Bowl, which is why I think nobody really wants the Eagles, because I think people want to believe that their team can go from absolute ass and trash to absolute glory, which is what the Commanders have been able to do.
Yeah, and if I don't know if people are betting with their hearts or not, but that reflects in the public betting. 68% of the bets are on the Commanders, 81% are on the Bills.
Exactly what this is. That is exactly what this is. Everybody wants, the Bills to topple the Chiefs. And then if the Bills were to get to the Commanders in the Super Bowl, hate to break the Bills Mafia, the world would not want the Bills. They would want the Commanders to win there. Now, granted, history tells us that the Super Bowl logo and the color scheme that they choose, somehow, some way, has normally been the colors of the teams that play in the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Red and green, pretty prominent in this particular logo. And I'm not saying there's a script. Hasn't been a lot of that talk this year.
Thank the Lord.
Thank God, because the refs have sucked. Certainly in different situations, but I think they've been good more than they've sucked. So shout out to the refs.
Good work, refs.
Shout out to the refs. Now, granted, the Kansas City Chiefs alternate logo, people are saying has stripes on it, and there's AI, and maybe AI for a lot of these photos saying the Chiefs and the refs are on the same team and everything like that. But feels like the script conversation this year has died down a lot than in previous years, and I think it's because the refs have done much better than they have in the past. But red-green, that says Chiefs-Eagles are going to win this if you look in the past of these logos, but nobody's looking for that con man.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I am in the camp of Team Eagles. I think that the way the Eagles kind of did their entire team, there was a graphic earlier, they got the Assistant Coach of the Year finalist with Vic Fangio. He's brand new to that team. 2 of the 5 Defensive Rookie of the Years, they're brand new, obviously, to the team. Defensive Defensive Player of the Year, brand new, Zach Bond. Offensive Player of the Year and MVP, Saquon, brand new. And as a person who has a team that is also shite, that is a way that I think you can do it. Draft, free agency, kind of flip your entire team. Because last year, obviously, they were one and done in the playoffs against the Bucs. Actually, season almost tanked, basically. They were, 10-1, leading their division, leading the conference. This team's going to get a first-round bye.
That right to the shite house.
Just absolute shite show. The rest of the season, the Cowboys ended up winning the division, but I want the Eagles to win. I think the way their team's built is awesome. Running the football, winning in the trenches, I think is a very, very easy way to kind of get those people to love you because it's grind and pound football. And then, of course, one of the GOATs, Bradley Cooper's a fan of that team. Sure. So I also want a little happiness for him. And then, I think the Bills are universal. I think the 81% shows that too, just because people are sick of the Chiefs. And, of course, selfishly as a Patriots fan, if the Chiefs win 3 in a row, that will have
they'll say they're burying you.
That'll have the legs for greatest dynasty of all time.
I mean, it comes as no surprise, too. Like, they've been telling us for a long time. Sirianni said, hey, O-line, D-line, Howie. O-line, D-line. That's not just a moniker of a guy who everyone thinks is a dipshit. It's actually how you build and construct a potential Super Bowl juggernaut, and that's what they've done. O-line, D-line. Howie.
Even though A.Q. Shipley doesn't believe in it.
No, he doesn't. He
That's
doesn't.
unbelievable to me.
That's crazy.
Although he kind of does, but then he doesn't. He says they have the best O-line, but apparently that doesn't win you football games in the playoffs.
Speaking of O-line, Dion Dawkins who's saying that before I'm done here, we're going to have an award for the Fatsos. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, we gave him out this year, the Trenchies. Dion Dawkins was a finalist. Lane Johnson won the Trenchie for best tackle. Mm-hmm. But here's Dion Dawkins saying the NFL needs to recognize the big boys as well.
Thing for an individual that is a part of this league to be able to get an award for being great. And I'll circle back on, offensive linemen don't have awards for being great. There's not a Protector of the Year award. I'm knocking at so many doors now to get this award going. And I'm going to head spirit and make sure that this gets done before I'm done playing. Because there's so many greats. There's so many greats. And we have great quarterbacks, we have great running backs, we have rushing titles, we have quarterback passing titles. All those titles are reflections of the O-linemen, which are the protectors. And soon to come, but I'm glad that that our McDermott is up for an award.
Yeah, so, hey, listen, I'm happy McDermott's up for an award. I'm happy Josh Allen's up for an award, okay? Let James Cook probably up for an award. But how about the big boys? And I'm going to continue to spearhead this entire thing, which I respect. Once again, we gave away the Trenchies this year. Congrats to all the winners of the Trenchies. Yeah. But I think it's a very vital piece of an NFL team. It's like the most important part of an NFL offense. Nothing goes unless your big boys have the ability to move other men. And there's going to be a battle of Goliaths this weekend on Sunday in championship weekend. Now, we turn our head to some breaking news. Congrats to Pete Carroll.
Yeah, Pete.
Pete Carroll has been named the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. This seems like the worst kept secret in football over the last few days. Our circles were telling us that. The internet was saying that Pete Carroll had a chance. Michael Lombardi, who I believe was speaking to Tom Brady throughout this entire process. Tom Brady leading the charge on the interviews of the head coach and the GM spy tech from Tampa. When Tom was down there, got to know each other well. Pete Carroll is a guy that gives them immediate legitimacy. Now, he's 73 years old. It was a 3-year deal with a 4th-year team option. He'd be 76 at the time, 77 at the time. Anybody that's ever been around Pete Carroll there says, this guy's like a 40-year-old, man. This guy's like a 30-year-old. His energy is off the charts. And if you do recall, he was kicked out of the Seattle Seahawks organization. He didn't know he was going to get fired whenever he got fired last year after last offseason. He walked in there and he said, I fought like hell. I competed for my job to lay out how I think I could right the ship with this Seahawks team. So whenever he gets abruptly kicked out of the Seattle Seahawks organization, I think he had to figure out what the hell he was going to do for a year. Then his name started getting mentioned, Chicago Bears maybe. Jerry Jones allegedly has been calling Pete Carroll. And we believe football guys are going to remain football guys. Doesn't matter if you're 73, doesn't matter if you're 63, doesn't mean if you're 103. I think Pete Carroll knows exactly what to do. He's won a college national championship. He's won a Super Bowl championship. This guy knows ball, and also
Oh, yeah.
he can spin it.
He's got a gun.
There's videos of him in his 70s working with the scout team, throwing balls, no-look throws. His energy is contagious. The way he goes about doing his thing, we all recognize and understand. He's going to bring a positivity, a competitive mindset, and hopefully the Raiders back into relevancy, which is all anybody could hope for in the NFL, because when the Raiders are good, the NFL is better. I love that Tom Brady made this pick. I love that this is where the Raiders are headed. They're going to need a quarterback now.
Yep.
Is Russell Wilson,
Whoa.
who just spoke glowingly of Pete Carroll on our program the other day, who's potentially a free agent going forward, going to reunite with Pete Carroll, even though the way it ended wasn't how anybody would have expected or wanted. We shall see. I love the Pete Carroll hire in Las Vegas, and Tom Brady didn't want to do a brand new guy to find out if he's going to be a head coach. I want to know what we're getting. Pete Carroll, you know exactly what you're getting, con man.
Yeah, and it's like another culture hire. Like for New England with Vrabel, this is the same exact thing with Pete Carroll, a building that's kind of been turned over, twice in the last 2 years, basically. You could argue 3 times in the last 2 years, but this is awesome. And then, the division itself is asinine. The fact that it's Harbaugh, Carroll, Peyton, Reed, 3 of those 4 have won Super Bowls. Jim Harbaugh's been to a Super Bowl, also a national champion in college. Like, all these guys know how to win. I mean, you could easily make the argument this is now the toughest division in football with Pete Carroll, if he's able to turn around the Raiders, which I think we all believe he is.
I mean, the NFC East has 2 teams in the conference championship, so obviously we have to pay them respect. But whenever you look at this murderer's row of great coaches in the AFC West, you have to have the conversation. Now, everybody's chasing the big one on the far right. Everyone's chasing. Now, this is kind of what happened. When the Patriots were doing their thing, they just murdered the AFC East. A lot of change in all those other places. Well, if the Patriots are able to do it, how come we're not able to do it? In the AFC South, when Peyton Manning and the boys were running the Colts, a lot of turnover trying to chase it. Now, you see these 3 other teams trying to catch up to the Chiefs, 3 other teams with opportunity, and you go down, Jim Harbaugh, we love him. We absolutely love him.
The man.
Got a quarterback. Sean Payton, we love him. Absolutely love him. Got a quarterback.
Yep.
Andy Reid, we love him. Got a quarterback. The only thing Pete Carroll doesn't have is a quarterback over there in Las Vegas. I'll be eager to see what they decide to do. Go ahead, Tone.
Because of his age, do you think we should pay attention to who the OC and DC hires are to see if, maybe during his interview process there was a potential succession plan? Like, hey, after I have someone in mind who I think would be a great head coach moving forward after my 3 or 4 years, do you think that could have potentially been part of the interview process because of his age? I was just thinking off.
I'm not sure. I don't think they're thinking about the future.
Okay.
I think they're thinking about right now. I think Tom Brady had to check to see, hey, you eating avocado ice cream or you eating, Dairy Queen or Grater's?
Sure. Ben & Jerry's.
What is your dirt cake?
Come on.
So good.
Yeah.
It's got a little crack to the top there.
At the top?
Yeah, the top is so good. Can't be having too much of that, obviously. Get a little too fat.
That's a nice little treat.
But Pete Carroll at 73 is not doing that.
No.
We would assume he's taking care of himself. Everybody that's been around him said his energy is awesome. Congrats to Pete Carroll getting a job back in the NFL where we assumed he would always be. Then let's go down to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow, there's chaos. There's absolute chaos. There's been a lot of terrible things said about this guy from the people of Tampa Bay. Liam Coen, the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Congrats to him. I think there's been a lot of potential misreporting. Maybe. I don't know. Reports say this, reports say this, reports say that. There's been chaos through this Liam Coen situation. It all started Sunday, January 12th. Jags owner says GM Balky would be fired if a new head coach wants him out. Remember, this is on a Zoom call. We saw it. It was awesome. Shad Khan, and Trent Baalke were sitting on a Zoom. They were the only 2 on the screen. He was asked, if a new coach wants a new GM, would you do it? He goes, absolutely, I'd get rid of this guy if that's what a coach wants. Baalke just has to sit there and take it. He's been there for a long, long time. Then on Wednesday, Coen interviews on Zoom. Then on Monday, January 20th, Coen interviews in person. Remember, Baker Mayfield is not getting people jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Baker Mayfield's success has gotten people jobs. Obviously, Canales with Carolina, now with Liam Coen. Then on Wednesday, January 22nd, 2 days after he interviews in person, allegedly he withdrew his name from the Jaguars head coaching search and got a deal from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to either double his salary, but at least make it the biggest coordinator salary in the history of the NFL. We reach out to some people that know this world well. And we said, hey, when somebody removes their name from a head coaching search, why is it? Or it gets reported that a coach removes his name from a head coaching search. What does that mean? Well, it potentially means that the owner of the team he's currently on said, hey, here's a new deal. All you do is remove your name. You'd rather have bird in the hand than 2 in the bush. You'd rather have a guaranteed massive contract than a potential massive contract, or that person thinks that they're not going to get the job, we're not going to do the song and dance anymore, want to refocus. Well, it was reported that he was given a massive pay increase to stay with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Once again, we don't know if Liam Coen said any of this. This is all the things that are just being reported. Then you go a day later, Coen didn't sign his contract. He meets with the Jags again in secrecy, allegedly. Then we get to last night. He's offered the job. Now he's making $13 $13 million a year allegedly for the next 5 years. It's like $60 million or something. Joining us now is a man who probably knows the ins and outs a little bit better. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans are saying this guy's a scumbag. This guy is a scumbag. But if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, you got to be pumped that Trevor Lawrence is going to get an offensive guru to potentially get everything rolling over there. Ladies and gentlemen, senior NFL insider for ESPN, Adam Schefter.
Yeah, Shefty.
Shefty, we know you're very busy. We appreciate the hell out of you. It was reported all these things about Liam Coen. He withdrew his name. He did this. He did that. His wife has come out and said that their kid was sick during all of this. So what's real? What do you think is real? What isn't at this moment, Schefter?
Well, I think there's two different sides of this, okay? I think Liam Coen would tell you that he feels like this was his right. And by the way, in the NFL, with contracts, even if there's a signed contract as a coordinator, it is within your rights to go take a head coaching job anywhere else you want. I think that he felt like the Buccaneers, right or wrong, I'm just telling you what he felt like, the Buccaneers strong-armed him into this deal, and he signed the deal, and the Buccaneers would say, we made him the highest-paid coordinator in NFL history, and then when we tried to figure out where he was, we could not find him throughout the course of the day on Thursday to get him to sign that contract. And they say that they reached out multiple times. He says he was in touch with Todd Bowles and informed him of his decision to interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, there are two different versions to this and how this is going to go. Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
We'll mute you. There's obviously a couple Saints in Dallas are now the only remaining head coaching spots. Schefter potentially is getting information on that, or maybe an OC job or a DC job at one of these new places. He's head turned to the side. Yeah, I'm on TV. I'll talk to you in a second. Okay, here we go. And we're back.
Okay. Yeah, I'm back. Yep. So, again, I think Liam Coen has his thoughts, and the Buccaneers have their thoughts. And you can believe whatever you want. I'm just telling you there's two different schools of thought. And I would say this. In 20 years, this century, since the turn of the century, I don't remember the last time I heard one team this hot and bothered about a coach taking another deal. Like, they were hot. But by the way, his side is like, we didn't do anything wrong. We were exploring our rights. We took this contract. We let them know. Again, you believe what you want to believe. I'm just the messenger giving you all the sides of the story.
Standard operating procedure, though, from ownership, whenever a coach is potentially in the mix for another head coaching job, a coordinator, is to offer a little bit more money to withdraw the name, though, right? This is standard operating procedure, the way this normally works?
Withdraw the name? What do you mean? You froze there for a moment. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you there, Pat.
Okay, so whenever an owner comes to a coordinator and his name is up for a job, this is very normal procedure from teams to offer a big pay raise to withdraw your name, right?
I don't think that's standard. I think that this was an exception. They were making him the highest paid coordinator, but I think his camp felt like they were being, again, I'll use that word, strong-armed into a deal, and I don't know why but they felt that way. That's how they felt. And the Buccaneers say, we should be so fortunate to be strong-armed into a deal that would make us the highest-paid coordinator in the game. Like, again, everybody's got their side. So I'm trying to be fair to everybody here, and it's not easy because there's a lot of different versions of how this is going down. So I can just tell you that, like I said, I don't remember the last time I heard a team that irate over a coaching decision.
Okay, so Tampa's pissed. All right, we shall see how that ends up working out. With Coen, they lose Spytek over to Las Vegas, their assistant general manager. Let's talk about Las Vegas. They hire Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's name was dropped, I think, in the Chicago Bears. We thought maybe it was an agent working this entire thing. How real was Pete Carroll to anywhere other than Las Vegas?
Wait, hold on. So it wasn't an agent working the entire thing on Pete Carroll, Pat? It wasn't?
Turns out potentially not. So that's what I want to talk about. How real was Pete Carroll anywhere else other than Las Vegas? And why do you think Tom Brady inevitably went this way? Because we have been told that Tom was kind of, him and Davis both, but Tom was running the interviews basically for the Raiders.
Yeah, I think that this was all about Tom leading an organization and finding somebody that he had respect for. Look, they were interested in Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson opted to go to Chicago. And I think when you're the Raiders and you don't have a quarterback and you feel like you need to reset some things, you're trying to get somebody that they feel like needs to turn around the culture and help build the program back up. That's how they feel. And so they know there's no quick fixes. So I think they think that by bringing in Pete, this guy's incredible. Like, he has got so much energy, and he is such an inspiration. If we go back to O's, right? I took O's to Seattle to perform for the Seahawks a few summers ago, and I've been.
Pete figured him out. Pete figured it out. Pete figured out O's.
Well, first, mesmerized by O's, right? And so, he couldn't ask enough questions and all the. But anyway, he brings into the meeting room in the morning, and I'm sure like a lot of teams have versions of this, but I'd never seen it. Like, it was like a DJ up front. It was like nightclub music, songs I'd never heard that I downloaded into my Spotify so I could listen to, because it just felt like I was like pumped up. They had basketball hoops and guys shooting hoops and dancing and Pete coming and it's rah-rah and they're yelling. Like, I got tired being at the meeting for 3 hours. Like, I was worn out by the end of the meeting. And this guy is unbelievable. Yeah. And so he's 73 years old. He's going to be the oldest head coach in the history of the National Football League next season. To tie this all together, when Pete Carroll was in his very first season as the head coach of the New York Jets, his very first-round draft pick in 1994, I believe it was Aaron Glenn. 30-plus years later, Aaron Glenn is hired as the head coach of the New York Jets, and Pete Carroll is hired as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So his very first draft pick is now a head coach. He's got so much energy, and I think that the Raiders felt like, okay, we know this is going to be a little while. We don't have the quarterback we want. We want to make this program, this organization competitive, have the culture right, start building it the right way so that when we get the players we want and need, when we get the quarterback in here that we want and need that can keep up, hopefully, with Mahomes and Herbert and Bo Nix, that Pete Carroll will lift that program up and get it into a spot where whenever he decides he doesn't want to coach anymore or they move on from him, that he's passing off the baton and the team continues moving forward.
Okay, do we know who his coordinators are going to be and everything like that? Do we have any clue or any inkling on who could potentially be joining him out there in Las Vegas?
Not yet. We'll see how that goes. I don't know who his offensive coordinator. That'll be a big hire, and the quarterback issue will be a big decision that team has to make between the input of Tom Brady and Pete Carroll. So we'll see. Okay. Not going to be Liam Coen.
Okay, yeah, not going to be Liam Coen. He's not going to be at Tampa either. Sorry, Tampa. No. Sorry, Tampa. Go Bolts down there, but go the hell out of here, Liam Coen. I don't know if he's welcome back in Tampa ever. Beautiful city. Jacksonville will certainly love him if he wins. 2 more jobs open. Conman has a question for you.
Yeah, Schefter, who's left for the Saints? Is Big Mike McCarthy still probably one of the guys that's going to get tagged down there as the head coach, or is there another coordinator, maybe like a Brian Flores or something along those lines, who's kind of been forgotten about in this process that might get hired?
Well, I think today they have Anthony Weaver in, and tomorrow they have Mike Kafka, the Giants offensive coordinator, in. And then next week, I think you have to see how these playoff games play out this weekend. Cliff Kingsbury, the Commanders, OC, Kellen Moore, the Eagles, OC, Joe Brady, the Bills, OC, all have been linked to them. I don't even remember which ones virtually interviewed with the Saints to begin with. They're all in play, and Mike McCarthy's in play. So you're looking for an answer, and there's a lot of different guys in that mix right now. I think Mike McCarthy makes a lot of sense there. He's got deep ties and connections to the organization. We'll see ultimately if he's the guy, but I think there are some other guys that are interesting to this organization, and I don't think they're there just yet.
Mike McCarthy has deep ties to the Saints?
Well, he's worked and known some of those guys. I think he worked in New Orleans. I'm pretty sure he worked in New Orleans and know some of the people there.
Oh, okay, nice. Mike McCarthy's the Yinzer. He's beloved everywhere.
Yeah.
Amen.
We understand. Is he potentially going back to Dallas? They don't have a job either. You mentioned Kelly Moe. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Chef, the reports now have been really heating up that, hey, Brian Schottenheimer's kind of going to be the next guy. They're just kind of waiting to maybe finalize it. Is there any movement on that, or is that a bunch of BS? And is, a guy like Kelly Moe still potentially going to be the Cowboys head coach?
It's hard to tell because I think one guy determines that, and one guy can change his mind at any moment. and one guy can wake up today and say, you know what, I know we've done a lot of work into Brian Schottenheimer, but I feel like Deion Sanders or Jason Witten would be the best for this. Or like, again, I don't know what Jerry Jones is going to be feeling today. I think they spend a lot of time on Brian Schottenheimer. I think that makes a lot of sense on a lot of levels. But ultimately, one guy's going to make this decision. And until he makes the decision, we don't know exactly what direction this is going to go. So it's hard to pin it on somebody until they're moving forward with that decision. And as of last night, they hadn't moved forward on any decision to my knowledge.
Okay, so is this going to end today, you think? Coaching cycle?
No. The Saints will go into next week because they're going to wait for the games. The Cowboys could end today, could end next week. We don't know when Jerry's going to decide to make a decision. That could be any time. So you got those two. We need a GM in New York. I know there are reports that Darren Muji is in line, but again, the Jets just texted, we haven't even offered, we haven't made a decision. The Broncos said we're sitting with him here in Denver. He hasn't received an offer yet, so we'll see how that plays out. It wouldn't surprise me if he winds up being the guy. We're waiting to see who Jacksonville hires as a general manager still. So what are we missing? We're missing a Jets GM, we're missing a Jaguars GM, and we're missing two head coaches in New Orleans and Dallas, correct? I think that's it. Am I missing anybody right now?
That's how we feel as well. That's how we're seeing the entire thing. This is Schefty season too, right? I mean, you've been on it the entire time here. This is a busy time for you?
You know what, Pat? It's funny. I had somebody call me this morning. They're like, where does this rank in terms of busy times of the year? And I really think that when it comes to the NFL, everything when it's happening is the busiest time of the year.
That baby.
The trade deadline as it's unfolding is the busiest time of the year. The head coaching, hiring, and firing, when that happens, that's the busiest time of the year. When free agency happens, that's the busiest time. When the draft happens, that's the busiest time. When training camp opens, that's the busiest time. When the season gets underway, that's the busy. Like, they're all busy because people love football.
What?
The greatest reality show going.
What?
There are storylines like Liam Coen and Pete Carroll that you never could predict in a million years. And so people love these storylines. They love their teams. Great passion for the sport. And so it's always busy, and it's going to keep staying busy.
What's the most important game, Schefter?
Most important game?
Yeah.
Well, they're both important. Why is one more this weekend?
The next one. Okay, that's a mindset that players have. That seems like that's a mindset that you have as an insider as well. Everything's the most busy and the most important because we're in the middle of it right now. Speaking of the two games, I know this is out of the coaching world a little bit. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Schefty, injury-wise, what are the Eagles working with? Because I saw something about Juergens not being at practice, same with Goddard, and then Taylor Rapp out for the Bills. Are there any other injuries we should be looking at going into the weekend?
Well, I think the big ones are obviously Jalen Hurts and Quinyon Mitchell. Both guys were listed in full on the injury report yesterday, so they're playing. And I think the whole question is Jalen Hurts 100%, 90%? He lines up directly across from Jalen Carter. So that's a big challenge that they're going to have to overcome this week. Yeah. So no Taylor Rapp for the Bills. The Chiefs are healthy. We'll see about Hurts and Mitchell. No Cosme.
What about Juergens for Philly? This is just playoffs. Let's get him to the game.
Yeah, I don't have an answer there. I've had a couple of people raise that to me, but I don't know specifically where that's at right now.
Raise that to you. That means he's potentially out, or they're just asking?
No, people ask me, what's the deal? And I'm like, I don't know. I need to check into that. But I've been busy with Pete Carroll, Liam Coen, and the other openings. So I haven't had time to check on Cam Juergens.
All right. Well, we appreciate you doing your thing. We'll continue to follow along with your Twitter account. Obviously, you're on top of it. You're the man. We appreciate you, brother.
Guys, enjoy the games this weekend. We'll talk Monday. Look forward to it. Thank you for having me today.
You got it, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Schefter.
Hey.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers are irate.
Uh-oh.
Never seen that. We talked to our source, Sis, that said when somebody withdraws their name from a head coaching role, ownership giving a raise, very standard operating procedure. So I think Schefter maybe misheard what I said because you wanted to get to the point that Tampa's pissed about how this whole thing works. Because if they're raising you, giving you a raise of double and a half, whatever it is, that's so we don't have to worry about this anymore. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you say, yeah, cool. Hey, is that $13 million still available after you fired that GM that I fucking hated? Yeah. Cool. Deal. Sorry about it, Tampa. I'm moving north in this particular state that we're in to Jacksonville, and it's like sucks that happens, but also Liam Coen can't turn down a head coaching job. So Robert Saleh was allegedly on his way down there to interview. We all assume now he's going to be a San Francisco 49er defense coordinator, which was kind of the thought immediately upon him leaving the Jets. He goes over to the Green Bay Packers. He's friends with LaFleur. He was in his wedding. He's consulting. He's advising with the way the Niners season went. We all assumed he potentially gets back into the DC job because he's owed guaranteed money from the New York Jets to be the head coach. Mike Silver says, I fully expect him to be the 49ers DC. I think that was kind of something anybody could have fully expected because that's where he got famous from. That's why he became the head coach of the Jets. They're missing that particular piece. But he was allegedly going to interview for the Jags job. He turned the plane around allegedly and left whenever Liam Coen gets a gig. Fascinating development down there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and I think a report I read, part of the secrecy too, was that they had Patrick Graham in for an interview, and he was the second Rooney Rule guy that they had in person, so they didn't want it to leak out, hey, Cohen's the guy we want, because they didn't want him to get spooked by that and leave. And then there's all the, hey, the raise is contingent upon you not taking the second person or the second in-person interview. And then I think it was a Jags staffer that tipped off someone in the Bucs building, hey, Liam Cohen's in the building right now. So, it is kind of crazy.
Got to get that asshole out of the Jags building.
Exactly.
They need to get that out of the building. That, first of all, obviously, shout out to the Bucs getting the information. But if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, that's your biggest problem right there.
For sure.
So somebody in your building was like, hey,
I just saw him.
He's here. Why is anybody in your building talking about anything?
Yeah.
That's, get to the bottom of it if you want. Chief football strategist Tony Khan, I assume we'll get to the bottom of that down there. Liam Coen, does he know what he's signing up for down there in Jacksonville? I think that's the big question. Ben Johnson setting the bar at $13 million per year for new head coaches. Liam Coen seeing that, getting that, obviously awesome. We still don't know what Kevin O'Connell got, but we assume it is gigantic. Pete Carroll's number is going to be big. There's no salary cap on coaches' contracts. You can spend whatever. These guys are making a pretty penny, all fully guaranteed as well, Conman.
Well, and that's why if you're Tampa, it's like, come on. I think about McDaniels, where McDaniels turned the plane around when he was going to be the head coach at Indy, but he already had, a head coaching gig in Denver. It's like Liam Cohen's never been a head coach. Mm-hmm. How often is this going to happen? Especially when you look at the season, are they going to be great every single year?
Yeah, but he lied.
Yeah, I understand that, and maybe that's part of it, but, that's business, baby.
He lied.
Sorry.
Same with Ben Johnson. He's never been a head coach, too. Yes, I know, I get it. Everyone's pissed that he went into the division, but if he felt that was the best fit for him, that was the best fit for him.
He earned that.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions fans kind of got off the hook because how mad Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans were.
Oh, yeah.
And then Liam Cohen's wife coming out and being like, our son is battling an autoimmune disease. We're in the hospital throughout a lot of this, so maybe there's some miscommunication as well. Maybe our side hasn't been told. And everybody's like, whoa. We hope the kid's okay.
Sorry, Mrs.
We
Cohen.
apologize, and congrats on $60 million. Instead of the $15 million, whatever it was supposed to be. But nonetheless, no matter how pissed off Tampa is, they have to find a new offensive coordinator. That's back-to-back years they've had to do that because Baker Mayfield, so damn good. Let's talk about a situation that wasn't great, the end of the Baltimore Ravens season. Now, with a minute 33 left in the game, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens went for two to tie it up against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills still had a couple timeouts. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen still playing like Josh Allen. But to tie the game, Lamar Jackson tried to throw a little out to Mark Andrews. He drops it, a little behind, whatever the case. The world started burying Mark Andrews, obviously, immediately. Mark Andrews, if he continues to go in the path that he's going, he's going to have to win a Super Bowl, obviously. A potential Hall of Fame tight end. What him and Lamar Jackson have done, absolutely impeccable. He's a captain of that Baltimore Ravens team. He had a touchdown 6 or 7 straight games for the Baltimore Ravens. One of their pillars, one of their great players, has this drop. Obviously, Lamar says he should have thrown it better. It's on all of us. But the big story is there's a minute 33 left. Is Josh Allen going to go down the field and kick a field goal?
Probably.
I like to think probably. But maybe Lamar gets a chance to answer again. Anyways, Mark Andrews didn't talk to the media afterwards, didn't talk to the media on clean-out locker day in Baltimore. Instead, he waited for a post on Instagram that he put out. It's impossible to adequately express how I feel. I'm absolutely gutted by what happened on Sunday. I'm devastated for my teammates, my coaches, and Ravens fans. I pour every ounce of my being into playing at the highest level possible because I love my team and the game of football like nothing else. That is why it has taken me until now to collect my thoughts and address this publicly. Even though the shock and disappointment are unlike anything I felt before, I refuse to let this situation define me. I promise that this adversity will only make me stronger and fuel us as we move forward. I think everyone who has shown me and our team genuine support these past several days, despite the negativity, which there was a lot, I've seen heartfelt love and encouragement, including from those who have generously donated to Breakthrough T1D organization, which is a type 1 diabetes foundation that I believe we donated to as well because he scored a touchdown in 5 straight games. Even when the moment seems darkest, perspective can reveal that there's still a lot of light in this world. I'm now going to do my part to bounce back and contribute to it. That was great to read. I'm happy for you, Mark.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer anybody. He felt terrible about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that ball not secured is very abnormal for Mark Andrews football. I appreciate him addressing it. There was a lot of media people going, hey, he needs to talk to us. Doesn't he need to answer?
Oh, yeah.
To me. He needs to answer to me for what this is. I think there are some rules for players having to speak to media, so I assume there'll be some sort of fallout from that entire thing. Him doing it this way, collecting his thoughts, not saying anything too stupid immediately after a game, I think is good, but obviously there's people that think it's terrible.
Yeah, and Cam Newton said it best yesterday. You know, it's not as if just athletes should be held to this standard everyone should, but I mean, it sucks. And I think that message is awesome too, just because it shows how, you know, hey, you guys feel bad. Like, you have no idea how pissed off I am about this. Like, of course I wanted to catch the damn ball. It just didn't happen. And also, a minute 30 left, 2 timeouts for the Buffalo Bills at home.
Yeah,
like,
just acting like that one was over.
Exactly, acting as if that's going to overtime.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, because he dropped that. Like, I think we all agree the Bills are still winning that game in regulation. Like, it's not as if...
That's how we feel, but obviously football could be different, and I assume the Baltimore Ravens defense would say, well, there's a chance we get a 3 and out.
Sure.
And we get the ball back and we actually go win that thing. Nonetheless, it ends up not working out. I agree with you, though. I think Josh Allen goes down. Tyler Bass probably kicks one through. They win it. That's not how Ravens fans feel. Ravens fans also understand how important Mark Andrews has been to that team. I think it's more so people that are like kind of at a 30,000-foot view that were trying to kill him and wanted to hear from him.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, you know, some Ravens fans, because there's fans like that in every single fan base, you know, the lunatic fringe, if you will.
Shout out Kirk Herbstreit.
Shout out Kirk. But, you know, hopefully the majority of them do, because, I mean, he's their all-time leading touchdown scorer in the history of the franchise. Like, Mark Andrews is an incredible player. Obviously, he wanted to catch that football. Obviously, he didn't want to, you know, fumble that ball earlier in the game. But we say this all the time. Like, yes, those plays stand out, but those were not the only plays that the Ravens, you know, didn't make or didn't make a mistake on in that game. So, yeah, I feel bad for Mark Andrews. I'm sure he feels a lot worse than anyone else could feel at him. So, yeah,
it's going to be a great offseason for Mark Andrews. You know, obviously, anytime that's the final taste in your mouth going into an offseason is going to be a little bit more motivating. Not that he hasn't been a pro his entire career. He has. That Baltimore Ravens team going to continue to get hungrier. A lot of people watch this.
Yeah.
Ton.
A lot of people watch this. Numbers are out. 42.2 million average viewers for Ravens Bills. The battle of Lamar and Josh Allen. Inevitably, the Bills win by 2. And then the national championship, Ohio State Notre Dame, averaged 22.1 with a peak at 26.1 million viewers. Obviously, congratulations to football dominating.
Let's go.
Dominated. Whenever it comes to linear television and TV as a whole, football is really the only thing that's driving any numbers for linear television and everything like that. There's entire businesses trying to be built to get to that someday. The NFL is here and only climbing. College ball, though, down, they said, from last year to this year. Is it college football fatigue? Was it the timing? Obviously, it was Inauguration Day. There was a lot going on Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It was a longer season this year. What do you think it is? Or are we just in a new world where maybe not as many people are watching TV and they're getting it from other places, Ty?
I think that's certainly a part of it. There are just so many options, and I think fatigue is definitely a part of it. I mean, we talked about it, like, that is such a long season. It is. And even though those games, like each one that we, you know, went week after week and was like, wow, this is an incredible matchup, like, it does wear on you a little bit, especially when it's sandwiched in between, you know, or around playoff football, but also, like, ESPN's cable. You know, it's not basic. Now, granted, the NFL is, regardless of what it's on, it's going to draw numbers like that because it's king. But if the national championship was on CBS or NBC or, you know, something like that, I'm sure the numbers would have been absolutely astronomical. You know, but it's on cable. Not everyone has cable. You have to go find it if you're not already watching it. But I mean, I don't think they have anything to be worried about. I think they look at it as a whole, and it's like, hey, this still crushed.
22.1 million average viewers is a huge number.
That's a lot of people.
Largest non-NFL event for ESPN of the year. There's been some breaking news from the College Football Playoff. The 2027 National Championship will be in Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations to Las Vegas getting the College Football National Championship. Next year it's in Miami down at the Orange Bowl. The following year it'll be in Las Vegas. I'm excited to see how it all works out and continues. Will they change the schedule and the calendar so it doesn't draw out as long? 12-team playoff, more schools get a shot to shine, starting at 12, counting down to 1. That's how they crown a CFP
National champion.
But it did kind of linger, seemingly, much longer than anybody could have imagined. This one is on Monday, January 25th, 2027. Excited to see how they combat that going forward.
I just looked up to Ty's point because I was wondering, beginning in 2027, ABC will simulcast the College Football Playoff National Championship with ESPN.
We assume it'll be gigantic, because obviously that game's on CBS, which if you have bunny ears, you can see it. And also, I don't want to say this yet again, but these numbers.
Sure.
Black boxes, some people have them, some people don't. Math equation, who's what?
There's 11 different ways to watch, we said on Monday.
So how are they tracking everything?
Also, cable, YouTube TV, Hulu.
How do they track everything?
Your phone.
I don't know how.
TV.
Fubo.
I have YouTube TV and Hulu. I'm about sick of Hulu not letting me log in. This is your home base. You can only move your home base 4 times. Well, what the fuck do I got a streaming platform for if I can't log in?
Isn't that the whole point?
Isn't that what I'm doing? I'm trying to cut the cable so I can log in. Well, you've changed 4 times. It's like, no shit. I'm on the move. YouTube TV just kind of lets me do whatever.
They do.
That's why I got this thing.
The GOAT.
Yeah, and I know
here
Hulu
temporarily.
is a Disney entity or whatever, and it's like, you guys need to figure it out because Google's just smacking you around
they have.
whenever it comes to YouTube TV. If I have to see my Hulu tell me I can't log in again while it's still charging me,
Oh, yeah.
I'm about done with it. I'm about over it. I thought that's what we were trying to do this, but how does Nielsen monitor Google, Hulu, linear? How does it? I don't know.
There's no way.
Once again, this is us understanding that we benefit from these things because now that we are on, our show is licensed through ESPN, there is a ratings release and yada, yada, yada and everything. But even when those come out, it's like, how do they know? How do they have any idea who's watching what? Especially with us being actually on YouTube, TikTok Live. TikTok Live is going through the roof.
Yeah.
We need to talk to Mr. Nielsen.
Ed? Is he still alive?
Liam? Leslie?
Liam Nielsen. Is he the one counting them?
He might be.
Is it Liam?
Could be.
Particularly
Liam Neeson alive. Leslie Nielsen very much dead.
Oh, Leslie Nielsen is, you got to be like a little person at a urinal, always on your toes.
Bingo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Naked Gun, yeah.
That's Leslie Nielsen?
Yeah.
Yeah, always on your toes. That's what you got to do. Legit.
Yeah.
Some of those urinals are so low, though.
Tiny. And they're like half buckets.
The old school, our school ones that just went straight to the floor. Love those.
I don't mind that either, but the ones that are cut off down there at my shins, it's like that's definitely going to bounce on my pants.
It's almost meant for you to piss all over yourself.
Yeah. I feel like we could have done better with that whenever we created those. Somebody that created the urinal was like a genius, right?
Yeah.
Check it out.
Everybody was like, yeah. And
Less
then we
water.
Didn't change it forever. It's like, I don't know if that's the right answer.
I like the floor ones. I like the ones that go all the way to the floor.
I don't mind it. I don't mind ice in there either. Have you ever seen the ice ones?
Mind ice.
Yeah.
Great.
Ice is great. Great.
Troughs.
I'm not a big trough guy. I'm not a big trough guy.
You don't have to worry about the blowback.
Yeah, but in the modern world that I'm currently in, trough is my biggest nightmare.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the amount of selfie videos that I walk.
But if just in your home, if you wanted one in your home, you could have one.
Remember the guy? A trough in the house?
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I don't know,
so cool.
boys. I don't know. I think there's some drawbacks to
Kidding me?
trough. I mean, commercial. Obviously, got to go stadium do that. Remember the guy in Cleveland did the whole.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he slid in it.
Yeah.
I just got disgusted.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Notre Dame, Ohio State, 22.1 million average viewers, says Nielsen. Who knows what that means? There's some stories coming out of that game. For instance, I mentioned it a few different times. Jeremiah Smith is going to get a massive offer immediately after this season's over. That's what the NIL is. That actually led to Coach Saban saying, to your point about that, we need some sort of, we shouldn't be saying that Jeremiah Smith might be gone from Ohio State immediately after this national championship, because the way the world is, it's like, well, there is a chance. And allegedly, Jeremiah Smith has been offered $4.5 million. Carnell Tate, the other wide receiver alongside Ibuka and J.J. Smith, $1 million plus offer in the transfer portal. We don't know what's real and what isn't real in these reportings. Remember, North Carolina allegedly offered Quinn Ewers $8 million or something. Michael Lombardi said, that didn't come from me. I don't know who that. We like Quinn Ewers, but we're not spending $8 million on a quarterback, especially if he's never done anything here. There is every team in college ball that would try to get Jeremiah Smith on their team. So I assume Ohio State's going to have to deal with that. And will they just have to up their roster, up their salary cap? And is Jeremiah Smith the guy that says, I don't even want to hear it? I'm cool with what I'm doing right here. I know I'm on a trajectory to get to the NFL.
Luckily, Ohio State feels like that's not a place that wide receivers normally leave. You know, with that Heartline with Ryan Day, with Chip Kelly now, with how well Jeremiah Smith performed in that offense just as a freshman, you would hope that he would realize that and not be antagonized away. Carnell Tate, I have seen a bunch of stuff about if he will or not, but also being the number 2 to Jeremiah Smith in Ohio State offense, just like a Mekabuka was to Jeremiah Smith, and then Marvin Williams Jr. Last year. Like, that's not a bad spot either. You would hope these guys realize this, but no, like Saban said, this sucks. Like that is a thing that Ohio State's like. I mean, I guess they earned it, but Ohio State should have the money to keep their guys.
Yeah, and we talked about them having the money at the beginning of the season. They're not the only ones. There's a lot of teams that have a lot of money. And all you need is one donor, one booster to be like, I want Jeremiah Smith on our team. Mm-hmm. How much money are you willing to pay? $10 million? I don't know. What does he want? What do we need to get him here? Because he's a game changer. And by the way, he is. And I hope you get all the money you deserve, Jeremiah, because of how great you are, how humble you are, your work ethic, and what you do on a football field. He changes the math. We were on the field watching it. Even against Texas, he did not play great, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did not play great.
Didn't have a bunch of production.
He had 1 catch for 3 receptions. Well, he had a safety, linebacker, and a corner over top of him. That opens up everything else for maybe Judkins, Henderson, Tate, and Ibuka, to your point in there. Mm-hmm. He's a game changer. He's a math changer. And Chip Kelly was just starting to cook with him with 1 year. Hopefully it all gets figured out. Notre Dame now, they also have some stuff going on. Mm-hmm. Center for Notre Dame, Pat Coogan, the one who gives the pregame speech. And at the end, he goes, for God, for country, and for Notre Dame in football. Mm-hmm. Every single week was their leader. He's entered a transfer portal alongside Rocco Spindler. These are 2 key pieces, obviously, to that Notre Dame offensive line, which was able to get them all the way to the national championship. I guess they weren't the starters going into the year, though, Tony?
Yeah, so when I saw the news, I was like, that feels weird, because not only it feels like a team that just got to the national championship, you would think guys wouldn't want to be leaving there. And then on top of that, Ohio State got to the national championship and they get $20 million. That $20 million goes to the Big Ten. Notre Dame doesn't have a conference, so they just got $20 million. So I'm like, they're not going to have a problem paying their players. Like, they can't be. That's why. So I looked it up. They were not starters to begin the season. They became starters because of injuries. They're both graduates, and if the starters that were supposed to start at the beginning of the season, I believe, are back. So it was kind of a situation where were they going to be starters still? So I thought it might be something, but the more you look into it, and they have a 2 5-star freshmen coming in, so it might just be like a numbers game situation.
Hey, Pat, you're a dog.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You're a leader. I'm excited to see where you end up at. You can come get a hard edge at West Virginia. We would love you over there. We would love him over there. I assume he's going to end up going big.
I think Tennessee. Was he the one?
One of their linemen.
Yeah, one of their other ones. Yeah. But also, like, what we've been talking about with how long the season is, like, granted, you don't want, obviously this is, having 2 starters, whether or not they were starters at the start of the year, like, you need a bunch of depth on your offensive line. And that's kind of what killed them, going down the stretch, was they had to plug and play with just a bunch of these different combinations. So that's going to be much harder going forward, obviously, when you got these 4- and 5-star recruits who are, kind of buried on the depth chart and they want to go somewhere and they want to play. But in today's college football, like, you almost need to be, if they're going to be playing 16-game seasons, like, you almost need to be 3 deep at every position on the offensive line.
Okay, Notre Dame's going to have to fill in another very vital role. Al Golden, defense coordinator, has finalized a deal to become the Bengals defense coordinator.
Wow.
Lou Anarumo, Bengals defense coordinator for the past 10 years or whatever, is now with the Indianapolis Colts as DC. I liked his opening press conference, said, I'm going to tell the truth to everybody around here every single day. Got a lot of talent. Hopefully he's able to do well. Al Golden, what he was able to do at Notre Dame this year, fantastic. This is a part of being great. The Detroit Lions are kind of going through that right now. Yeah. Notre Dame's going through it. This is a part of it. Whenever you win, there's enough to go around. It doesn't mean it's going to be with you, though, or with the team that you're currently on. People are going to try to pluck greatness. Al Golden heading back to the Cincinnati to be with the Bengals. How do you feel about the move there at Boston, Connor?
I think it's awesome for Al Golden. It's kind of sweet. We saw with Jeff Hafley last year from going from BC to, Green Bay, and granted he was the head coach, but I don't think this affects Notre Dame as much as like the transfers, just because Marcus Freeman is the defensive guy over there, right? He's kind of the one steering the ship. I know he's not calling plays, but because he is a defensive guy, do you think that matters?
Yeah, I saw a lot of people talking about the DB coach maybe for Notre Dame getting promoted to defense coordinator. So hopefully you're able to hire from within, which is a massive deal in the NFL. Yeah. It is going to be a big deal in college ball as we go forward. We talked about the Detroit Lions just a couple seconds ago, losing their coordinators. First time ever anybody wants anybody from Detroit. Detroit Lions fans weren't necessarily thrilled with the move.
Don't know how to deal with it.
Terrion Arnold actually almost just said, you know what?
He doesn't know how to deal with it either.
To hell with it. Good morning. Let me check my phone, see if anybody hit me up, and we're down. Sliding all the way down, sits down, takes a breather. Wow. Tough way to start the day. Everything's bad in Detroit right now, Evan. What the hell's going on up there?
Yeah, I don't like this. I'm just happy that I didn't watch this and we had a game on Sunday. Then I would have been really worried. Imagine if he got hurt on there and we were in the NFC Championship. But yeah, I'm hoping he's okay.
Well, how about him being so incredibly athletic that he saves himself, takes a good bump, doesn't hit his head, and then just rides the wave and then gets to the bottom and goes, wow, good morning to me, I guess. And then he posts it, tough start to the day.
Think about us, too. We always there's stories like this that come out. If there wasn't video, we'd be like, yeah, sure, you fell down the steps.
Yeah. How about him checking it back? Is that camera? It is.
Yep.
I'm telling you, I slid all the way down and just casually sat there. And he's like, here's the film, puts it up there. Shout out to Terrion Arnold. He's part of a defense that's going to continue to get better, although they need a new DC up there, right?
Yes, sir, they do.
We should add them to the graphic, actually. Detroit needs a new OC and a DC, right?
Yes, they do. And the rumors that I've seen, your guy, Calvin Shepard, they think that he could do it.
It's not Calvin Klein or... Okay, it's Kelvin.
Or the
What I say?
Why don't you have a little bit of respect for this guy?
What'd I say?
You call him Calvin
Shepard.
Scott
Kelvin.
Shepard.
Yeah, it's not Scott. It's not Santa Claus.
Kelvin.
Although he would be a great DC.
I think so. They should think about interviewing Scott Calvin.
From the area.
Ho Gijo. He is Michigan man.
yeah.
Yeah, he is a Michigan man. Loves building cars in his spare time. Maybe put him in there. There is a recording coming out now of Ipe Mitsuhara conning a bank into giving him hundreds of thousands of dollars as if he was Shohei Ohtani. Shout out to the New York Times, The Athletic, for uncovering this.
Who am I speaking with?
Shohei Ohtani.
Thank you. How may I help you?
I tried to make a wire transfer a couple of days ago. They told me that that's probably the reason that they transferred me to this number.
Alrighty. Now, the number ending 0373, is that the best contact number for you?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to send a one-time authorization code to your text messaging. Can you provide me with that 6-digit code when it become available?
Yes.
Okay. What is the reason for this transaction?
For a car loan.
Okay. You said it's for a car loan?
Yes.
Okay. What is your relationship to the payee?
He's my friend.
Will there be any future wires to your friend?
Possibly.
Yeah, there will be.
Sure.
I hope the more that comes out, the more people understand Shohei was a victim in this entire thing and absolutely frauded out of his friend. Is probably going to sit in jail forever. Hour 2 on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice.
Hello and welcome to Office Championship Wrestling live in Indianapolis, Indiana. Tonight we have a straight to hell match in which the devil will battle against our office wrestler, Dylan Boston. You might be wondering how we got here. Let's find out right now.
And now we have to make a deal with the devil.
Yeah, no big deal. Classic trial by combat situation. We got our champion, Dylan Bostic. All he's got to do, win the match, 1, 2, 3, and we're home safe.
The only man that would take the job to protect us from the devil himself, Dylan Bostic.
Like you mentioned, Pat, there's probably about 5 or 6 other guys we'd rather have in this position, but we'll take Bostic, I guess.
Not only are all of our souls on the line, the Office Championship Wrestling Championship presented by Natural Light is also on the line.
Jesus, the devil's trying to put Bostic right to hell!
I do not want to go
Good
to
God,
hell!
no!
Don't do
Good
it!
God, no! Come on, Bostic, Pat!
Oh, no! Oh, my...
I'll see you in hell, Pat. The goddamn Easter Bunny's out here! What the hell's he doing here?
The Easter Bunny is obviously here to help Dylan Bostic. Wait a minute. No!
No, no!
The Easter Bunny's been on the devil's side this whole time. Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ! Jesus
What the hell's
Christ!
Jesus Christ doing here?
The power of Christ is compelling Dylan Bostic.
Look at this, Pat! Jesus Christ is bringing Bostic back to life! Jesus is going insane! And now Bostic's kicking wholesale ass in the ring!
Jesus Christ has come to help Dylan Bostic defeat the devil and defeat the Easter Bunny. What's gonna happen here?
Good God Almighty, it looks like he's going up in the scissor lift!
Jesus is lifting the scissor lift. Jesus is now telling Bostic to come down from
Don't do it,
heaven.
Bostic! Don't
No!
do it! Oh my God!
Oh,
Bostic's dead! He's dead! You can't tell from home, but that scissor lift is about 8 stories up, Pat!
80 feet in the air. Oh, wait. He's tuning up the bed. The devil.
Super kick! Into the casket! The devil goes down! The devil goes down!
Jesus shuts the casket. Straight
That's
back to
it.
hell. The devil goes straight back to hell where he belongs.
With the assist from Jesus Christ of Nazareth!
Dylan Bostic saves the PMI office's souls and wins the OCW championship.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
What?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist!
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it!
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Feel Good Friday, January 24th, 2025. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Football! It is wonderful, and we're so incredibly lucky that we get to talk about it every single day. Thank you for allowing us to do this for a living. It's not just me that talks the tables here, at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Con man, just a t-shirt today. I see you back.
Yeah, I figured after yesterday, it has warmed up a little bit. It's a nice 15 degrees here, and I still got the nice Team Moss beanie on to kind of keep me warm. But yeah, I figured, I don't want to wear a jacket every day.
You're back to being a dog.
Yeah, trying to.
Yeah, go back to your roots.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Schmidt, you watched those Pacers play in Paris yesterday?
Yeah, I did. Boy, I don't know if I'm going to be doing that again.
Well, they play tomorrow, 2 o'clock.
Certainly will not be watching the one tomorrow.
On ESPN. The Pacers will take on Wembanyama in the Spurs in Paris yet again.
They're in Paris.
Our source told us that Wemby got going yesterday and it became a little bit of a runaway.
What are you going to do?
When you have all of Paris behind him and he starts doing his shit, he's the one.
Yeah. So cool.
He is must watch.
He is the one. He is taller than you. He's more athletic than you. He has, and he can pull up from half court. I mean, and I guess once this all starts happening, all of Paris gets onto their feet.
Yeah.
The smells I heard. Just so crazy
so
in
bad.
that arena, so loud. And it was one thing led to another. And the Spurs put an absolute ass beating on the Indiana Pacers on NBA TV yesterday in Paris. They will continue their Paris series tomorrow as these two will face off once again. And if you're the Pacers, you're just hoping not to turn on the light switch for Wemby early, because if he gets rolling, I guess it's an unstoppable force.
Yeah, well, and then I hadn't even remembered it, but they also got Tony Parker over there with the Spurs right now, who is also a Patty legend. So, I mean, it makes sense. You know, you got an 8-foot guy who can shoot, 85-foot threes. And like we showed yesterday, can dunk without jumping. I mean, how you going to defend that? How you going to stop that?
Yeah, how are the Spurs? They trash?
No, they're a little above 500 now. I think they're in the hunt a bit. But to your point about the smells, I'm sure it's impossible to play over there when it smells so bad. I mean, it must be one of those situations where you're running around and it's just, hey, where's my Dove? Where's my Dove Dio? Because if I don't have it, I'm going to start throwing
issue.
up.
The Pacers were dribbling and just trying to spray Dove Mencare whole body DO. They got to get through that. You got to battle through. Yeah, they are putting up shots while they're doing it. Yeah, shoo them off.
Have to.
Shoo them off.
Wemby's used to it. It's not fair.
Dove should think about heading over to Paris and being like, hey, got something for you guys. Game changer.
Yeah.
You don't have to do what you do with your noses every time you see each other or you look up at each other. Everybody says the French are maybe looking down on you. It's not. They're just going all the time.
Do they have soap over there?
No, it'd be like fire for Neanderthals if you brought some Dove over there.
Look at this.
Oh, it just hit my nose, nostrils. That smells so good.
So good.
That's Dove Mencare whole body DO, bro. That's one half of the hammer. Cowboys AP tone. You bet on the Pacers tomorrow?
No.
Joining us now, live from an attic. Me neither, brother.
What?
Me neither.
I don't bet on the NBA till playoffs.
June.
Yeah, but we're going to watch NBA, remember, because football's over soon. And we like Tyrese and the Pacers.
For sure.
Well,
and we like Zion.
Technically, football's over.
We like
but,
the Celtics.
Draft, free agency, it carries us. So
we like Missoula. We like the Celtics.
I could do without them.
Well, guess what? They ain't going nowhere.
I could do without them.
Well, that's too bad.
I'm okay without them.
They're probably going to end up winning it again.
Did LeBron beat their ass?
Wait, hold on. Is Stevens still running that place up there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love the Celtics.
Yeah, Brad Stevens and Joe
Okay,
Mazzulla.
I love the Celtics. Yeah, West Virginia guy, Indiana guy.
Bingo.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I love the Celtics. You're
Thank
right.
you.
Love the Celtics. Love the Pacers. Love that Zion is doing his thing.
All right, let's not put too many eggs in that basket.
He's healthy. Shams told us yesterday he's playing 5-on-5 basketball.
He's only eating egg whites now.
We've been here before.
We don't know if that's true. We have heard that the Pacers, though, will only eat egg whites.
Bingo.
They for every meal, they only eat egg whites. I saw that on a
yolk.
Instagram post. They're only the whites.
That's right.
That is all they'll eat. We don't know if that's going to continue or not. Maybe they'll change their ways depending upon how they win going throughout the year. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who has a tree on the Ohio State Buckeye University campus. He's a college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup winner. Ladies and gentlemen, father of 10, AJ Hawk.
Yeah,
Hawker, how you doing, bub?
I'm doing great. I don't know why the Pacers would only eat the egg whites. That's I like eating the whole egg. I don't know about you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Turns out the Pacers aren't though. I guess it's like a team thing. Like, no way anything other than
team mandate.
Snow.
Stick to the whites.
I guess that's.
That's all they eat. Nothing else.
I don't know. We're not. It seems like from the photos we've seen that is the case. We have some breaking news. Zion out tonight. Okay.
Oh, is that right? I would have never thought.
Okay.
Is he hurt or just rest?
Couldn't see this coming.
I don't know.
Conditioning is the reasoning I'm being told.
Conditioning?
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Let the guy play.
You know how you get your conditioning up? You play basketball. Okay. You don't sit. Sit doesn't get your conditioning up. I know. I've been doing it for 20 years.
I don't want to do this again, but I once again blame the Pelicans.
I was going to say, why would you put that out? Like, yeah, guy's not in shape. You guys get it.
They never let him play. Just let the guy play. If he wants to play, let him go out there. And if he's going to be let us see it.
Yeah.
Because instead it's always like the Pelicans are holding him back. The Pelicans are holding him back. The Pelicans don't know if he's in shape enough to play. He's going to injure himself even more. It's like, does Zion want to play? Let him play. Because whenever we're seeing him on the court right now, he's fucking all over the place. He's all over the place.
Give him an oxygen tank. Pretend like they're playing on top of Mount Everest every game.
Yeah.
And just, all right, hey, we need 10 oxygen tanks out here. And we might go through all 10 of them tonight. But that's what Zion needs to play.
Give him an ice bath in between the quarters.
Sure. Yep.
Get the guy on the court. He's
Halftime
blockbuster.
massage.
And they say the NBA's numbers are what they are. And once again, we talked about the Nielsen ratings. How? How do they know? I don't know how they know.
They know.
They do. I'm about done with Hulu. I don't want.
Who's they? I mean, I don't know who they is, but yeah, you're right. I can't log into anything. Things get bundled. I can't log in anywhere anymore.
Yeah, Hulu is a real fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never, I am so mad. I'm like, what am I paying? I'm paying to stream. Yes. So if I'm in a hotel room that has a TV, a smart TV, but it's not connected to anything, or an Airbnb or a bus or something, I'm like, yep, that's why I got the streaming service, is so that I can watch it. You've changed your home 4 times. It's like, so I'm only allowed to stream 4 times? What am I paying you for? And then you go over to your friend YouTube TV, and it's like, you got it, pal.
Just got to click on here temporarily. Yeah.
Exactly, but it will waste that's a lot of time. That's 10, 15 minutes doing the whole song and dance.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole...
Hulu stinks, brother. We told you before, hey, YouTube TV is going to change your life, and I'm glad it has, but it kind of outshines everything else so much.
Yeah, and it's not bad. I also see the list, because every time I was on YouTube TV, I can never get to the list. I need the list.
The guide.
I like scrolling through a guide to kind of see what's going on, because maybe something that I didn't know was on is going to pique my interest, and I'll do it. That's why I like linear television. I'm an old man at heart, I believe, especially when it comes to watching TV. So then whenever, I go over to YouTube TV, I don't see that. It's like, oh, you got to go back. You got to go home. Then you got to go down. It's down there. It's like, it is very nice. Then obviously the $4.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, sure. Come on.
Beautiful in there. The Paris basketball games, the Pacers got their asses beat by Wemby. They'll win tomorrow, though, H. They'll win.
Yeah, I'd bet on them. I'd bet on the Pacers tomorrow.
Me too.
Really? Wemby can't do it twice, right? He can't do it twice, in a row.
Not in Paris.
Not in Paris.
What do you guys want to bet?
What's that?
He might, he's not going to go for like 48, 15, and 10.
I'm going to bet on a betting site. I'm not going to bet you.
Oh, okay. I was in.
What's the spread?
I'm looking.
I don't know. 2 maybe.
How many points are you giving me?
I'm giving you none. I think this was just a straight up.
Pacers are 1.5 point favorites. They were 1.5 point favorites yesterday, though, too, I believe.
Give me Spurs. Shit. Kidding me?
What's that?
Yeah.
Pacers are favorites? They just got beat by 35 yesterday.
Okay. Tomorrow at noon. Pacers are a gritty bunch, though.
They are. They are.
Yeah.
They certainly are.
And I don't want to get into the history of France. Okay?
Well, yeah.
I don't want to get into that because Wemby wasn't there at that time. I think it would have been a little different if Wemby would have been there and others. You know what I'm talking about.
I might have turned around.
I'm talking about the greatest generation. You know what we're talking about here. The Pacers going over there and representing. They got Olympic gold medalists leading this team. Tyrese Halliburton.
I do.
1.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
So are we doing it?
Couple. Pelicans are 12 and 32. We don't have time for Zion to be sitting. Okay, we gotta get back.
They're 12 and 32.
Secondly, where we're gonna be next week? I think we should all have a sit down with them. Talk.
The Pelicans?
No, just Zion.
I don't think he's going to listen. I don't think the Pelicans are going to listen either.
How much Starry?
AJ, I didn't say. Well, I said I said the collective.
Drink Starry anymore.
Past that.
I wasn't
Starry zero.
I wasn't going to say much. I'm more best in my pocket. Yeah.
For what?
What?
When we do the sit down, I wouldn't be doing any of the talking. I'd be doing a lot of yeah.
Okay, so you took a turn about what you would like to contribute to.
Well, AJ said, what are you going to say to him?
Okay, got it. Okay, I appreciate
I figured Pat would be doing most of the talking.
No, Age will do most of the talking.
Yeah, he's the fitness guru.
Yeah, give me some unsolicited advice. I'm a big fan of that, so I definitely want to be doling that out to Zion.
No, it's not unsolicited. He would be sitting down with us to get advice. It wouldn't be. He would be solicited.
Well, he didn't. Let me know if he reaches out to us as a collective and wants us to give him advice. Then I might participate.
All right, phone's open. DMs are open. Zion uses them.
Yeah, we'll just wait. We'll just wait for him to DM us.
Speaking of that, we had a cake show up. Is that a cake or what was it?
I think it was
believe it is cake.
Yeah.
Had a local online baker just show up outside the gate, just sit there. Say, I got this cake for you, which we're appreciative of.
Awesome.
I don't know if it's going to be great. We haven't got to taste it yet, but those are the things that Zion needs to stay away from. You know, and he needs to be traded to the Indiana Pacers. What is the Pacers record? They're 12 and 32 down there in New Orleans.
Pelicans are. Let me look.
12.
Pacers, I think, are 5th in the East. They're playing well.
All right.
24 and 20.
Let's talk football. AJ, you guys over there in Columbus have a little bit of an issue, bub. Jeremiah Smith getting offered big money. Carnell Tate getting offered big money. Knowles, your defense coordinator, we talked about it during the break. We didn't talk about it whenever it was announced that Al Golden is going back to the Cincinnati Bengals and leaving Notre Dame. He's allegedly, potentially, going to go back to Oklahoma. That has a defense coordinator position open because that's where his family's from. That's where his wife's family's from. How do you feel about the Ohio State Buckeyes, and how quickly do they have to focus on next year's roster, and is that already happening over there?
I am sure it has already happened. I'm sure it was already thought about before they even won the national championship. Like, hey, if things work out the way we want to, like, people will absolutely try to come pluck some of our talent. So yeah, I mean, you're a product of your own success, I guess, and that's the modern day college football, at least right now. You got to recruit your own roster, and it's crazy to think, a guy can be there 1 year, another team can entice him with a crazy amount of money, and they can just take off, and your best player can all of a sudden transfer. That could happen, but I don't see it happening in this case with Jeremiah Smith and Tate and everyone, but yeah, it's a real thing. I don't know what coaches are supposed to do.
Hashtag journalism. I'd mentioned this a couple weeks ago about being a possibility because this is the reality of current college ball. Jeremiah, we don't have $4.5 million for West Virginia, but we got good facility.
Sure.
Gino went there. Your cousin obviously can uphold the incredible tradition of Smith family members dominating in Morgantown. But there's schools that have a lot. I mean, there's billionaires back in a lot of places. Could you imagine Michigan?
Oh my God, the world would explode.
Larry Ellison, who we know is he's chatty.
Yeah, he's bringing it.
He's doing a lot of chatting about things right now. We're $200 billion. He allegedly the reason why quarterback one goes up to Michigan. He gets together, puts some money out there. Could you imagine Michigan offers Jeremiah Smith $5 million a year, $10 million a year, just because? Just because. I mean
why wouldn't they? If they had it, why wouldn't you at least offer it and see, take a shot?
That's the current world we live in. I'm not just Jeremiah Smith of Ohio State. That's everywhere at college ball. And now, does that change as we go forward? We hope there's some sort of regulations, but this is reality of the situation.
Well, that's what's crazy about Jeremiah is that when Quinn Ewers $8 million came out, it was like, okay, no way he's getting $8 million to go up there for a year. Like with Jeremiah, it's almost as if 4.5 isn't enough because of how damn good he is. Now, I'm not saying that's not a lot of money. It's a shit ton of money, especially for 2 years of football. But he's that good where if it came out like a school offered him $8 million to go play, it wouldn't be that surprising because of what a stud he is.
And then he could be a free agent again after next season?
Yeah.
I think so.
Is that how this works?
I think so.
Can you transfer as much as you want now, or did they change that?
I don't know, because it used to be you couldn't transfer until you're a graduate, and if you did transfer, you had to sit out a year, and then it became no rules because you're holding back people's money that they can make, which I think goes into an employment violation, so you can't hold them back for a year. So I think you can't. I think it's free agency every year, I think.
Essentially, as long as you meet academic requirements, you can.
Great for players in business. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great for think how hard it would be if you're a coach like at a mid-major, or say you're like middle of the pack in whatever conference you're in, and you have a young quarterback comes in, he plays like out of his mind, does much better than you expected. That dude is gone for sure. How do you keep guys around?
Yeah, well, it's potentially going to happen to the SEC. Not all of the SEC, but there's a chance the SEC starts feeding these northern schools that have a lot of cake. Our source state that there are some people around the SEC that are very worried about the amount of money that northern schools have. Like Penn State has been dropped into the very, very prominent role in this entire college football world and other sports world because of how much money their alumni have. A lot of rich alumni. So that's a massive ordeal now. I'm not saying that there's SEC schools that don't have that. I'm just saying there's a lot of opportunity for these schools, a lot of them from the north, that have a lot of money in their alumni. And if you could drum that up, all of a sudden you could start. It's wild. It's wild to think about, but if you look at the college football playoffs, you look at the teams, Indiana, Kurt Cignetti was able to drum up a lot of money. Mm-hmm. He was able to flip over his roster. SMU makes it to the college football playoff. They're in northern Dallas. They got a lot of money out of SMU alumni. Texas, obviously, in the SEC, they got a lot of money out of their alumni. But you start looking at all these other schools, it's like Penn State, shit ton of money. Notre Dame, shit ton of money. Ohio State, shit ton of money. Oregon, shit ton of money. It's like some of these schools have a lot of money. There's going to be the haves and the have-nots if it continues to go this way. And the haves are going to prosper throughout this entire process, which is why you're hearing a call from everybody. It's like, we need at least some guardrails on this thing.
Yeah, and I think that was everyone's fear is like, hey, the 12-team playoff is great, but before too long, we're going to be getting the same 12 teams in this every year because there's that clear delineation. Like Connor mentioned Jeff Hafley, that's why he left Boston College. He basically said, like, hey, if we defy expectations and go like 9-3 or whatever, and we have a couple unbelievable guys, like, guess what? Those guys are going to Michigan. Those guys are going to Ohio State. Like, we don't have the resources or the money to pay everyone from a good team. So it's almost like a lot of these kind of lower tier, major conference teams, like they have that one crack. If you have a really good team, you better hope you go to the playoff and then by some way make it to a national championship. Because if you don't, your entire roster is going to get poached at the end of the season.
What did Coach Saban say whenever he gave his speech about regulations? He was like, you can't have one team have $30 million and another team have $3 million, and they're supposed to be competing on the same field. Like, that is just not that's not reality. And obviously you're smiling because Ohio State can keep up with anybody, but you understand that there has to be some sort. I think even Ohio State people, especially with this Jeremiah Smith situation, they're like, hey, we need some sort of guidelines.
Yeah, it never stops. I guarantee you, like there's many people at Ohio State that are freaking out and losing sleep every night because you have to continue to bring in that money every year now. It's so hard to keep these guys.
Okay, let's talk about the NFL, shall we? Pete Carroll is back, AJ, with the Las Vegas Raiders. How do you feel about this hire by Tom Brady and Mark Davis over there in Las Vegas?
I love it. I mean, I see all the great clips of Pete just throwing dimes everywhere and running up and down the field. It's great to see him. And Schefter was like giddy with excitement when he was talking about like when he got to experience a Pete Carroll team meeting. So yeah, that's what you're bringing in. I think it's good. Like bring in. Obviously, it depends on what happens at the quarterback position and all that. But I like that Tom has his hand in this and says he wants some experience, he wants some energy, and Pete seems like a great guy. I mean, Pete in Vegas. Man, I think this is a pretty good fit.
I think so, too. They don't have a quarterback, and they're in a very difficult division. So, obviously, two things working against you. He and Jim Harbaugh played against each other in the Pac-10, Pac-12. They played against each other in the NFC West. Now they'll play against each other twice in the AFC West. He and Harbaugh, great history. But this is a Mount Rushmore of coaches. You know, Bill Belichick, obviously, who will be joining us in about 10 minutes or so, certainly earns his spot on all this. But the AFC West, juggernaut coaching lineup, AJ.
I mean, just look at that. First off, yeah, it's also, as Pete Carroll taking this gig with the Raiders to play in the AFC West, we know how brutal it is, and you know, Patrick Mahomes is not slowing down anytime soon. But yeah, when you think about it, is there any, when we compare, if we do this and compare other conferences, I wonder how they stack up compared to these guys.
Well, Shane Steichen, D'Amico Ryans, Liam Coen, and Callahan, obviously down the AFC South, are a juggernaut. And the NFC East with Sirianni and Dan Quinn, and no coach at Dallas, and Daboll in New York, obviously something if you look around. NFC North, I think you would say, quite a juggernaut. Kevin O'Connell just signed a blockbuster extension with the Minnesota Vikings. Motor City Dan Campbell has to find two coordinators. That's going to be no easy task. Ben Johnson, which was the belle of the ball this coaching cycle, obviously he's a guy that has an opportunity to go on and be great. But if you look at the AFC West, that's 4 Hall of Famers. And Andy Reid, I don't know if you ever coached in college. Neither Sean Payton. I assume if they went to college, they'd have success there as well.
Yeah.
So congrats to the AFC West getting better, we think, with the Pete Carroll hiring. And congrats to the Raiders getting better. Liam Coen now is the head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. AJ, chaos around this entire story. I don't know if you've been keeping up.
I have. And so when Schefter was like taken aback and said he's never seen a franchise respond like as pissed off as the Tampa Bay Bucks were. So what exactly did Liam Coen do that they are so pissed off about?
So I think it is, and I don't think he heard me ask this question. His internet was freezing. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was.
A lot of crap.
A lot of in and out at his house right now.
Yeah, he was getting throttled a little bit.
Yeah.
They don't want to see Schefter win.
No.
This is the most busy time. But I think once we saw Liam Coen reported that he pulled his name from the Jacksonville Jaguars, there's normally 2 different reasons why you do that. 1, you think somebody else is getting the job, so you don't want to do the whole song and dance. Or 2, your team has offered you a pay increase to remove your name from the conversation. It was reported that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers gave him quite a pay raise to become the highest paid offensive coordinator or coordinator just in general in NFL history to remove his name from the conversation. Don't do the second in-person visit. And then he is found in the Jacksonville Jaguars building doing a second in-person visit. So I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team thinks that was shady business out of Liam Coen. You lied to us. You lied to us. Well, Shad Khan has seemingly got his guy, and he was trying to tell Coen as such. And was there a chance that Liam Coen said, I'm not coming here with Bulky? Why the hell would I do that? You fire Bulky, maybe I'll reconsider. Yep. And then Shad Khan says, you got it. I'll do that. And then Liam Coen now has to reconsider his entire situation. It is such a good reality show down there. Are they better now than they were a week and a half, 2 weeks ago? Is the only question for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I mean, I guess, they have a head coach now, but I think you're putting a lot of, faith in him because he's going to be instrumental in picking the GM, right? And you got a first-time head coach he only has 5 years of NFL coaching experience. He's been with McVay, and what he did turning around, the numbers of where Tampa Bay was last year compared to this year is obviously, very impressive. But I mean, that's for a franchise who hasn't won in a long time and have been a shit show. I think there was a stat that said Shad Khan can win 86 games in a row and he'd still be under 500. So that's putting a lot on a guy's plate who's never done anything before.
I think it was 83. Please have some respect. Not 86. There's some breaking news out of the AFC South now, Liam Coen. Bobby Slowick is no longer, Booby Slowick, Adam Schefter's reporting, is no longer the Texans' offensive coordinator.
Wow.
In the span of 1 year, Slowick went from being a hothead coaching candidate to now looking for work. There's multiple jobs. There are multiple places that are looking for offensive coordinators. Can we put that graphic up, the places that are, including the Detroit Lions?
Detroit, yeah.
Who are certainly looking for an offensive coordinator. Las Vegas with Pete Carroll. Chicago Bears have Ben Johnson. You assume he's going to call plays. And then Seattle Seahawks, they lost Grubb, remember? We assume he's going to go down to Alabama to join Kalen DeBoer. They still have yet to hire an offensive coordinator job. And now the Houston Texans have been added to the graphic. Wow. Bobby Slowick's going to get work quickly. Aside from this year with Jaden Daniels, what he and C.J. Stroud were able to do last year without all the injuries that took place this year. Injuries everywhere throughout the Houston Texans offense, especially the key players that they brought in. Stephon Diggs didn't finish the season, didn't play a lot of games. Nico Collins was hurt for a lot of games. Offensive line had injuries down there. Bobby Slowick, obviously, in his second year with C.J. Stroud, not as great as he was in the first year, but they get a playoff win, and now he's going to be heading to a place that's trying to build a brand new culture. What a play for Booby. I feel like he's probably okay with this move. Now, anytime you have to move or you get released, that sucks. He's going to find work quick, though.
Yeah, I mean he was the belle of the ball last year when Ben Johnson said he's coming back. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean,
Detroit, I feel like would be awesome for him. Like you go to the number one offense in the entire NFL, and of course you are, a guy that is coming off a year where you're supposed to be a hot head coaching commodity. But to Tone's point earlier too, if the Raiders are doing like a 3-year, hey, let's turn this around and then hire a new guy after Pete Carroll, like Slowick as the OC in Vegas would be the perfect kind of prince who was promised over there too, unless Carroll has his staff kind of already planned.
Man, well, you saw his work with a rookie quarterback. Now, who knows if that's the way the Raiders are going to go, or are they going to go with a veteran? Who knows what decision Pete Carroll makes? Russell Wilson's available.
Oh.
Is he? You think they'd like to be reunited?
Yeah.
I don't know, Age.
Both sides? You think both sides are okay with that?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson sang his praises the other day. He said, I played for two great coaches, Mike Tomlin and Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He certainly did.
I don't want to lose Russ, but it makes sense.
You said you wanted Russ back the other day.
You mean right after he was on the show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even when he was on the show, I think you said.
Yeah, I did.
You did.
And
I'm just saying it makes sense in Oakland.
It's Vegas.
Don't
You just want the best for Russ? Is that what?
Don't even
Yeah, I
go to
just
the
want the
city.
best. I just want the best for
Oakland.
Russ. I mean, they haven't
Play baseball
in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance Russell Wilson is back with the Steelers, seemingly indicating no. The internet after Russell Wilson's appearance on this show, which was 500x better than I thought it was going to be.
Loved it out.
Whenever we heard he was potentially available for the program, my first thought was like, oh, I don't know if we should do that. Obviously, the whole let's ride thing, everything else, I don't know if we should talk to Russell Wilson. And obviously say yes because it's Russell Wilson. And then leading up to it, I'm like, this is going to go bad. This is going to go bad. I know it's going to be bad. We'll put this right next to Jerry Rice's pitiful, terrible performance on the show.
Yeah.
I assume that's what this is going to be. Instead, I came away thinking, I love Russ. I appreciate Russ. Feels like Russ is always Russ. Some people are going to hate that forever because he is Russell Wilson, and that type of mindset can obviously turn people off. But he's going to have work. So is Booby Slowick. DJ. So is Booby Slowick.
Yeah, but think about with Booby Slowick, he was, like we said, he was the absolute guy. Like he was one of the dudes that was getting a head coaching gig. So I just think it shows how quickly you can go from that. Yes, of course. There are multiple teams that want him as their coordinator, but when you get a head coaching opportunity, you got to take it, I think.
Well, and there's a head coaching opportunity in Texas that maybe is still available for Bobby Slowick to go interview. Schottenheimer, who at one point when he was the Jets offense coordinator with Rex Ryan, Mark Sanchez, they were having success, had like 2 head coaching opportunities. Instead, whoever was the owner at the time, was that Woody? I doubt it.
I don't think so.
Whoever was the owner at the time gave him a raise, right, to remove his name from the conversations. He took that. Now, 15 years later, he's getting an interview again. I watched First Take's reaction to Schottenheimer potentially getting the head coaching job, and they're all just like, why? This is shit.
This guy sucks.
This guy is
Really?
As a guy who had a chance to be around Schotty in Indianapolis, I think he's a great dude. Obviously, grew up in the NFL, grew up in football with his dad being a legendary coach. I didn't think he was going to be the Cowboys guy either, but now that it's starting to happen, maybe he'll be there. Maybe Bobby Slowick gets an opportunity to be with Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe he does get fired from one job and become a head coach within the same state. That is still on the table, Ty Schmidt.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I don't think we have any idea what the Cowboys are going to do. You know, one day it's, hey, Schotty's going to be the guy. The next day it's, hey, Jason Witten came in and knocked Jerry's socks off. And then Jerry still is kind of thinking about Dahn. And now Bobby Slowick gets let go, and no one really thought that was going to happen. So, I mean, crazier things have happened. Who knows what's going to happen with the Cowboys? I feel like this could drag on for another month and a half, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Jerry allegedly reached out to Pete Carroll as well to kind of gauge his interest on being the head coach of the Cowboys. What we do know is there was a report of the average attendance for each home game. Dallas Cowboys are king. Okay, that place is massive. Jerry World is huge. We all know that. 92,972 average attendance. Jesus. Okay? And they stunk this year.
Yeah.
They had Cooper Cush playing quarterback. Mike McCarthy was on a lame duck contract. Micah Parsons was doing more in podcasting than he was on the field. Everything was bad for the Cowboys this year. They're averaging almost 93,000 a game, which is 20,000 more than most people in the NFL. It's a business. All eyes are on you. Whoever's the head coach is going to have the spotlight, whether they love it or not, and a fan base that's ready to go. And Jerry's just collecting checks, brother. And there's a reason why he is so damn arrogant. Everything I do works.
Yeah.
I got people from other teams telling me how I need to operate. How many people you got at your games? That's what I thought. How much is your evaluation of your team? That's what I thought. How many Super Bowls you have? That's what I thought. Everybody needs to get off my ass, which is allegedly why he's doing a solo mission in this entire thing to find the next head coach.
Yeah, which is also awesome for us to know, because if it doesn't work out, then we're going to be able to rip on Jerry even harder. But even the next two are funny. Like the New York market makes sense, but people are still showing up to Jets and Giants games, which is comedy when you think about what a dumpster fire both those places are too. Neither of the, I guess KC's there, but it's not seeing Buffalo or Detroit on there is a little shocking. Is that just stadium?
I wonder how
some places only seat like 65,000 though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, stadium size. Buffalo moving into their new stadium next year?
I believe so.
I think so, yeah.
Looks sweet.
Awesome.
Looks really nice.
It does. And 13 feet is really tall. People aren't happy about the...
Not really. It's tall. It's not really tall.
I think if the chest of the bison is at 13 feet and the top of the bison head is at like, what, 20?
Yeah, that's okay.
That's
yeah,
tall.
that's okay.
That's a towering
They didn't
bison.
say that, though. They said the top is 13.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they said the chest was 13.
No. That chest would probably be about 2 or 3 feet. You're not going to be walking under. You're not walking under that.
The chest might be. We'll see if they might be a little famished. Buffalo.
Cold weather.
Yep.
Will they be able to give their fans $5 to shovel snow at the new stadium?
Okay. Gumpy's still holding out against them. Obviously, Gumpy, big-time Miami Dolphins fan, AFC East, doesn't love that Josh Allen's the wagon over there, and the Dolphins potentially never going to be as such. How's Tyreek going? Have we heard any updates on what's going on with the Dolphins? Nothing really. Radio's silent out of 305.
It's been radio silent ever since D-Butch actually asked Rosenhaus if he knew for sure Tyreek wanted to be a Dolphin. He said, I actually haven't talked to him.
Tyreek Hill is the least of the Miami Dolphins' worries. Loves being a Dolphin. Absolutely workhorse. Played injured, had a broken wrist all season long. He got caught up in the emotion afterwards. Tyreek Hill is not something for the Miami Dolphins or their fans to be worried about. So Tyreek's back with the Dolphins. I've not talked to him.
I didn't say that.
Okay, I am not 100% sure. What a moment there. Just agenting the entire time.
Oh, he was the best.
He was awesome.
That was a
Such
Hall
a
of
weapon.
Fame performance.
It really was. And then he got us dinner reservations at like 3 different places.
Yeah.
And we didn't go to any of them.
We didn't.
And we are so
At
sorry.
at 12:30 at midnight.
Hey,
Yeah.
this place is going to stay open for you guys. You want to stop by? Good people, good chef, great atmosphere. This place on the ceiling or on the roof of this other place, you guys would love it. This place, not really known as well, great chef, up and coming. Got spots for you anywhere you need it. I'm like, thank you, Drew. Like, I really appreciate that. And then call Drew. Hey, we ain't doing any of them.
We're going to go back to the hotel, lay down for a little bit.
It is so cold. It is so cold. Our plane got delayed. We have Bill Belichick joining us here in a few minutes. I think he is caught in travel a little bit, so we don't know when exactly that's going to be. His transition into college ball is certainly going to be a story to monitor all year. Another story to monitor, Age, is what do the Baltimore Ravens do this offseason? How do they get over the hump? Did you see Mark Andrews' Instagram post where he explained, it took me a while to gather my thoughts because of how devastated he was for the entire team. How do you feel about this being the way that he went about addressing it? And how do you feel about the response from everybody saying, hey, you good, brother, you good?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand him not wanting to speak to the media directly after the game and, as they're cleaning their lockers out. It probably would have been better if he could have just, been honest and done it, but I can imagine that would have been a really, really difficult situation. I'm glad he at least addresses it here. So once you address it, hopefully you can start to move on from it. But something like this, until you win a Super Bowl or something, it's tough to really actually move on. But the dude's a stud. He's an awesome player, so people need to figure that out. And, he's going to make a ton of plays for them.
You know what's cool? There wasn't an immediate burial of Lamar Jackson after the game. We thought that once one of these teams lost, that there was going to be a murder of either Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. Seems like that wasn't the case. Everybody understands Lamar's probably going to win another MVP back-to-back. Had a great year, but they're not in the AFC Championship. Speaking of these games, SeatGeek has sent over the average resale price for both of these games and the Super Bowl. Look at these numbers. Holy shit.
Damn.
$9,444 current Super Bowl ticket resale price. $1,800 over there in Philadelphia. $971 in the home of the Chiefs. Right now, use code PAT50. You'll get $50 off championship round tickets. So that drops down to $1,758 average resale for the NFC and $921 average resale for Bills and Chiefs in that entirety. And then $9,444 average Super Bowl resale. That thing can change dramatically. Like if Washington goes, first time, long time, I think price goes up. I think price goes through the roof because the old school Washington. What was it?
Tony.
What was their name, Age?
They used to dress up like as pigs.
The Hogs. Right? The Hogs.
Yeah, Wild Hogs.
That wasn't their name, though, right? They weren't the Washington Hogs.
That's what I called them, I thought.
Is that what you called them?
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing all the fans dressed up as pigs and all that.
Google it. I don't think they were ever the Washington Hogs. Can you Google what their...
Sick name.
I want to check.
The Hogs.
The Washington Wild Hogs.
What's it say? Did you Google it?
Yeah. That's just what they call the Fatos.
The O-line, and they dressed in dresses and stuff like that, but the team name was actually the Redskins.
Oh, a lot of fans from the Redskins era, they would potentially want to go in there. I don't think there's any bad Super Bowl for the NFL here. There's some bad matchups in college. People talk about it in the NFL that could be. In this particular fashion, for ticket prices, I think it's all going up. Week of. I think it's all going up, whether it's the Buffalo Bills, haven't been there a long time. Kansas City Chiefs trying to do what's never been done before. History seekers are going to try to buy that. Washington Commanders, their fans have been yearning for this for a very long time. And then the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously the Johns in Philadelphia have a date with destiny in their eyes, potentially with Sirianni earning the respect of the entire Eagles fan base. How long do you think Sirianni has respect if he wins the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles this year?
I think you'd have to respect him until he's gone.
When's he gone? Lifetime contract?
I'm not saying you give him a lifetime contract, but I'm saying then if they win the Super Bowl this year and they start like 0-3 next year,
boo!
Bingo.
They'll boo him on ring night.
They absolutely
will.
would.
On banner night, they'll boo his ass.
But I think they should reconsider. If he is going to deliver you a steaming hot piece of horse shit that you're going to be able to eat, on parade day, I think maybe, give them a pass for all next season. And then if they miss the playoffs next year, then
we start talking.
Exactly.
Yeah. Joining us now is a man who has won all the Super Bowls.
Yep.
Now he's attempting to win a national championship with the North Carolina Tar Heel football team. Head coach of them. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest of all time in the NFL at coaching and general managing, Bill Belichick.
Yeah, Bill.
Coach, I like the bird. We're on a bird right now. Where are we headed? We're recruiting right now?
We are. We're actually headed back to Chapel Hill, so all good.
Okay.
How you guys doing?
Hey, we're great, man. It's been fun kind of following along with everything you've been doing. Are you on the recruiting trail right now? That's what you're doing?
Yeah, we're coming off it. Yeah, we got some guys coming in this weekend, so I'm headed back to Chapel Hill to have a big recruiting weekend there. UNC BC basketball, so big game Saturday.
Hell yeah, they just signed the number 6 overall recruit, I do believe, to North Carolina basketball. It was on a lower ticker this morning. Everything's up for North Carolina. Everybody thought this part of the process you would hate. Have you enjoyed it more than you expected, and how has it been going?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great to get out on the road, see some of the great high school coaches and programs, players. Still got a lot more to hit, but it's been fun connecting with so many people, some new, some old, but it's been a great process, and there's a lot of really good kids out there. It's been fun to see them.
What are the questions that they're asking? Are they talking about money first and foremost? Are they asking about development, projection? What is the conversation usually regard between you and a potential North Carolina football player?
Oh, really, it's about the player investing in his future. The next few years will be critical to his career, both, professionally, whether that be in football or out of football, and that investment is, North Carolina is a great place for that to happen, both on the field and in the football program, but also, it's a great university with, great educational programs. So if they invest in us at Carolina, we'll have them ready to go when they leave.
Yeah, whether it's in professional football or in just your professional life, you're going to be a better human, hopefully, after you leave the North Carolina football program. AJ has a question for you, Coach.
Coach, there's reports that Jeremiah Smith, obviously the stud receiver at Ohio State, got offered $4.5 million to enter the portal and possibly go somewhere else. And there's other guys getting offers, I guess, all over the place. Like, what do you make of all this, how this is working now, the NIL situation, and how do you navigate through the years?
It's pretty similar to what we have in the NFL. So it's as I said, it's a little bit of a combination between the day, a couple hours after the draft, when all the undrafted players are negotiating their contracts to be on a roster, and free agency just in general, where those couple days of the let's call it legal tampering period, I think they call it, when you're talking to agents trying to work out deals with them before the players are actually allowed to visit and you're allowed to talk to them. It's not the same, but it's sort of a combination of those two NFL events. So, it is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of money, promises, and opportunity being discussed, and everybody's in on it. The players, the teams that have the players, the teams that are looking for the players, and following the guidelines that are the process, which are not as well defined as they were in the NFL, but that's what it is.
Okay, so on that note, there's no marketplace, right? There's no comps. How do you know? Or are you just trying to do as much research as possible? Or are you putting the value on the players and not worrying about what everybody else is doing?
Yeah, exactly. I think you put your own value on them, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Maybe you have to readjust your values as you get more information, but ultimately you have to make your own decisions on that.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because you hear $4.5 million. You guys were allegedly given $8 million, and Lombardi came out and said, we didn't. If that's somebody, not us, did that. But that's like kind of the world we're in. Absurd numbers are tossed out. Is that all for negotiation and leverage, or is that reality? I guess you got to cipher through that. Let's talk about the NFL real quick.
Pat, it's free agency, and I think I think Mike's handled that great. I've been on the phone with him many times where they say, well, we've been offered, $2 million or whatever to go wherever. And Michael said, well, then you should take that. That's a great offer. Go ahead. And then they come back and say, well, we might have $2 million, but what do you have? Yeah. So, it's just part of the process. You've got to enjoy the process and embrace it, because you can't change it. And so, you eventually just figure it out.
It's poker.
Mike's really good at it, though.
Yeah.
It is poker. It is poker.
Yeah, it's bluffing, Can you read somebody? Lombardi saying, wow, that's an incredible offer. Yeah, you should go take that. All right, click.
Yeah.
All right. They didn't fall for it.
But Pat, the reality of the situation is, whatever the money is in college, it's fractional of what it is in the NFL. Call it college money $20 million or somewhere in that ballpark, whatever it is. The NFL, we're looking at a $300 million cap. So there's way more money. That's why I say the investment is so important for the player. Invest in yourself. You cash in later. You might make a couple $100,000 more here or there in college, wherever it is you go. But in the end, what's going to really matter is what happens when you get to the next level. And there's at least 10 times more money there and growing.
Yeah, and growing. You're right. Projected salary cap next year, $275 million. and it's only going up. It's only going up every single year. Somehow, congrats to the NFL, absolutely crushing it, ratings through the roof, and money going everywhere. There's some, NIL deals that are worth more than what rookie contracts are for NFL guys. I think that's been talked about a lot. But that second contract in the NFL is you're never going to be able to touch it in college. So do you delay that? How long do you delay it? We shall see. Let's talk a little NFL. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach. Pete Carroll got hired officially today to the Las Vegas Raiders, and immediately people started kind of nitpicking his age and that he's going to be the oldest head coach in the history of the NFL. When it comes to that, kind of from the outside looking in, and I'm sure you had to deal with it as well, like, is there really a problem when it comes to an older coach kind of starting out with an organization? And do you think that there's any, like, age limit to coaching? Because that is kind of what people are starting to form because he is 73, going to be 74 in September.
Well, it's just a number. But I think Pete's got a ton of energy. And if you look at some of the coaches in the league, like Andy Reid is not doing too bad. Sean Payton has a lot of experience, did a good job of turning that program around in Denver pretty quickly. Not too bad. We just saw a president, 78 years old, get elected. It looks like he's got a lot of energy, too. He's already getting some stuff done that he promised he would do. Not talking politics. I'm just saying for his age, he looks pretty active. So, I think it's really more about the person and the situation. But, Pete knows how to run a good program. He's done that, multiple times. And I'm sure he'll add a lot to Las Vegas. And honestly, I think they'll improve a lot this year. Let's put it like that.
Sources have been telling us that Tom Brady was running that entire interview process over there. Obviously, he is now a minority owner for the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't know what I expected. I didn't expect to hear that he was the one doing the interviews with everybody. What do you think he was asking? What do you think he was looking for? And why do you think he inevitably landed with Pete Carroll becoming the next head coach?
Honestly, Pat, I'm not really sure. Tom is a really smart guy, but I don't know what that process was or wasn't and how that went. Honestly, I've been pretty busy running around myself here at North Carolina. But look, Tom's he does a great job, and whatever his involvement was, I'm sure it was positive.
Yeah, because there's reports he called you, and then there was reports he called Lombardi. It was like he was seeking information, I think, from everybody as he dove into this process to get it right. And, he wants his investment.
Oh, yeah.
Owners want the one thing to go up.
Yeah. Go.
That's the number in the valuation. Tone has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach. As a Steelers fan growing up, I knew against the Pats that we maybe had a chance during the regular season, but once that AFC Championship game came, there was no chance that we were beating the Patriots.
Hell yeah.
I believe you were 3 or 4-0 against the Steelers in AFC Championship games. Similar situation this weekend where the Bills have had the Chiefs number during the regular season, but the Chiefs are undefeated against the Bills come AFC or come playoff games. Why do you think that is? Is it just, better teams, you guys hunkered down in the playoffs, or what do you think led to those?
Well, what led to it last year was Buffalo missed a field goal that could have put the game into overtime. You've got some really close games that have come down to a couple of plays, and Kansas City has made those the last couple times. But I mean, in the end, this game on Sunday, I don't think it really has anything to do with those previous games. It'll be another situation where if the game comes down to a handful of plays at the end, not that the plays aren't critical during the rest of the game, but if it comes down to a couple of plays at the end, it'll just be who makes them. And do I think Josh Allen's capable of making them? Absolutely. Do I think that Mahomes and Kelsey are capable of making them? Absolutely. But that's why they play the game, and I think it'll be a great matchup. I do think that Buffalo's going in there with a really good football team. And Kansas City, you can never count them out, but I think it's going to be tough for Kansas City. I really do. Both teams are really good, but I think it's going to be tough, and I wouldn't be surprised if the team that wins that game isn't the favorite in the Super Bowl.
Winning at this rate, at this clip, is something that not a lot of people have ever been able to do. Obviously, you are the outlier in that story. What the Chiefs have been able to do and what you were able to do you have to get lucky injury-wise? Why do you think it's so hard for teams to replicate success throughout the NFL?
Well, I think Kansas City's overcome a lot of injuries, and at the Patriots, I think we did too. There were times when we had injuries you had to deal with during the year. It's really about having the depth in your team and having a well balanced team. I think the thing that's impressive about Kansas City is they've won on offense, they've won on defense, they've won on special teams. They've blocked a field goal to beat Denver. They've had a last minute drive. They've made fourth down stops in defensively to win games. So. They've been able to make the plays they need to make because they have a well-balanced team. They have a very experienced coaching staff with, Nagy, Spags, and Taub, as well as Andy, of course. And so, they obviously work well together. They don't make many mistakes. You've got to really go out there and play a good game to beat Kansas City. And obviously that hasn't happened very much recently. So, they really force you to play well, and if you make a mistake, they take advantage of it.
Let's talk about the person that's going to have to play against them, and Josh Allen. You've seen him since his rookie year. He's obviously taken massive steps every single year. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Coach, speaking of that, when you first came in, Josh Allen, obviously he was an unbelievable athlete, but everyone looked at, hey, this guy's completion percentage is super low. A lot of the turnovers are, bonehead decisions, but he's just continued to mature year after year. What have you noticed about his maturation process, and why do you think he is so much better now than he was when he first came in?
Well, I agree. He's just gotten better every year, and I think it's a lot like Brady, where they're just not satisfied with their performance no matter how good it is. They keep getting better and better and, doing little things better. Allen's done a great job this year of not turning the ball over. And he continues to make critical plays on third down, fourth down in the red area in a 2-minute situation with the ball in his hands. And, it's remarkable to me that he's so hard to stop. It's almost like everybody knows he's going to have the ball in those situations, but, he continues to make it look easy, to be honest with you. And I'm sure that Kansas City is, geared to stop those, but we'll see whether or not they can. Josh and the offense have done a great job of continuing to produce in a critical situation. So it's wins. It's not yards. It's not stats. It's not any of those things. It's wins. And that's two things that Allen and Mahomes do really well. They find ways to help their team win. It's not about producing the biggest stats. It's about making the plays they need to make at critical times to win. And whether that's whatever it happens to be, whether it's a 4-minute offense running out the clock or a 2-minute offensive drive or getting the team in a field position for a field goal, they seem to be able to do it. And then, for the most part, the rest of their team has come through. Buffalo's a well-balanced team. I don't know if they're as well-balanced as Kansas City is.
Let's head to the NFC now. A rookie sensation, Jaden Daniels, brand new ownership, brand new coach, brand new vibes for the Commanders. They make it to the NFC Championship. They're taking on a Philadelphia Eagles team that is playing football differently than seemingly everybody else. Go ahead, AJ.
Coach, Saquon Barkley and what he's doing, like, when you are coming up against a guy like him, say you're trying to stop him defensively, I guess, what can you do to try to limit his production and not let a guy like Saquon beat you? Is there anything other than just, hey, we got to be gap sound, don't peek it, everyone play like team defense, 11 to the ball? Is there any, what can you do scheme-wise, I guess, to try to slow him down?
Well, I don't think it's scheme, but I think the most important thing is secondary tackling. I think we saw last week against the Rams. They hit 3 long runs, one to by Hurts, and the other two, the safeties just weren't able to make the tackle. So those 7-yard gains end up going for 60, 75, whatever it is. He just outruns everybody. And they've had opportunities to make those tackles and just weren't able to make them. So you can't give up any long runs to him. He's going to get some 7, 8, 10-yarders, but it's the 60, 70-yarders that just really, are backbreaking. So, yeah, he's definitely a hard guy to stop, but I think tackling is going to be the number one issue with him, particularly in the secondary. And then, of course, the receivers are explosive guys, too, with, Smith and Brown. So, they're definitely a problem. They're a hard offense to stop. They've got a great offensive line. They're well coached. They're very good. I think in the end, probably what Washington wants to do is force Hurts to beat him and not let Barkley beat him. And that's, easier said than done, but that's probably the way they'll look at it.
Now you just pack the box, right? You just pack the box. Easy as that. Just pack the box. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, well, we've seen people load up on the line of scrimmage, but when Barkley splits it, then it's a 60-yard run. It's all over. So, having layers to your defense is fundamentally what you want to do. You want to have that second layer, and then the last layer, safety. That's why they call them safety. Safety. You're the last guy. You can't expect a nose tackle to make make tackle on a guy that's 10 yards into the defense. The safety is the last guy. He's got to make that play, and that's going to be a big challenge for not only the safeties but also the corners. In the run force in the secondary there. But I would say offensively for Washington, Jaden Daniels has had a tremendous year. His improvement has been remarkable. I think that his ability to throw the ball inside the numbers, which he didn't do a lot of at the beginning of the year, has really been good. And his anticipation of guys coming open, instead of waiting to see him get open, he now can anticipate that window and deliver the ball that split second earlier. And that's made a world of difference. He's had a tremendous year. And I think he's just seeing things a lot better in the middle of the field. He's always been really good on the outside and obviously running, but I think his work inside the hash mark or inside the numbers has been particularly good and improved.
Yeah.
And McLaurin, that's the guy you got to stop. You just can't give up explosive plays to him. And red area touchdowns to him. You got to do a good job on that guy. But again, that's a lot easier said than done too. He's a great receiver.
He absolutely is. We got great games this weekend. We can't wait to watch your North Carolina Tar Heels opening game Monday night on ESPN. Prime time. You're the man. Safe travels, okay?
Is game day going to be there, Pat?
I don't make those decisions. Would love to. Would love to be there, though. You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, the GOAT, Coach Belichick. Safe travels.
Coach.
Listen.
Who they playing?
Small plane.
Very small plane.
Yeah. First
I
off.
knew that. You thought that right away.
As soon as I saw his head like this, I'm like, hey, Bill, he shouldn't be putting you on that plane. No. Now, granted, save money on the travel, can put money into your roster. He's probably not asking for anything, but West Virginia put you on a bigger bird there. Just want to let you know. I think he's going to win. They're going to win.
Yeah.
Like, that's just I already see him writing down his notes. I see him losing maybe early. Like in my head. They got a primetime game on Monday night. Mm-hmm. His team is going to be nowhere near where they're going to be in like a year from now or whatever. But just watching him go to work and take on the challenge and potentially become one of the only coaches to win a college football national championship and a Super Bowl at the same time, I love the task. I appreciate him stopping by in the middle of the recruiting trail. He's the man. And thank you all so much for allowing us to do this for a living. We will continue on YouTube, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and TikTok Live. We'll make our picks, and then we will thrust into a magical weekend with Saturday night main event tomorrow night, and then championship Sunday as the Eagles and Commanders do battle. Then the Bills and the Chiefs. We'll be back for Overreaction Monday. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life, AJ Hawk, just like our friends at Dude Wipes.
Yep.
Shout out.
Wash your ass.
Right.
We're in this thing together. See you on Monday. Goodbye. All right, let's make our picks.
Nailed it.
Here we go.
Let's make our picks.
Vote.
AJ, Sunday, 3 o'clock on Fox. Tom Brady on the call. Washington Commanders take on the Philadelphia Eagles in front of a bunch of Johns. In front of the founder of Danny and Coop's, your favorite cheesesteak shop.
Without a doubt.
In New York. Jalen Carter and the boys lead a defense that is pummeling. But can they stop a phenomenon named Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz, and a litany of weapons that we could have never projected to make it to the NFC Championship? And then for the offense for the Eagles, are they going to be able to run the ball over people? At what point do people say, yeah, we're not going to let Saquon wreck the game? Is Jalen going to be able to take this thing over? Or will this Commanders defense that has been counted out and ranked 18th in total defense and point-scoring defense, will they be able to rise to the occasion in what we assume will be a very cold game of Philadelphia? Will they want to make the hits? Will they want to be able to make the tackles? AJ, the Eagles are favored by 6 at home. Dallas Goedert has come out and said he's going to play. Cam Jurgens, Schefter said, it's been raised to me a couple times. I haven't got an answer. Let's assume he's going to play. It's the playoffs. A lot of guys are just trying to get to the game. A lot of people missing practices. This is normal. A lot of people in treatment all day to try to make it to the game, and then they lay it all on the line because it's either a win or go home. I don't know that about Jurgens. Haven't heard anything about Jurgens, but what we know of him, we assume, If he can walk, he's going to play in the NFC Championship. Eagles favored by 6. AJ, your thoughts?
I've gone back and forth so many times, and then listening to Bill even talk about this game has me thinking about waffling whatever I was originally gonna do. My initial instincts, as you guys know, was the Washington Commanders. I told you that early in the week. I understand Coop is a big fan of the Eagles. I understand the cheesesteak situation. He's great.
Tell me something, Coop.
I mean, I appreciate Coop's support of the Eagles, but I'm taking the Commanders here.
Wow.
+6.
He's been taking the Commanders for the last week.
Yep.
What does worry me, what's made me almost waffle, is Jalen Carter. Like, I think this guy's an absolute monster. He is a stud. So difficult to block. The dude can take over a game from the interior, which is crazy, but I'm taking the Commanders still.
Any other news? Commanders offensive line, right?
Yeah, Cosby
that
is
sucks.
out for the year, and he's their best lineman, which Schefter alluded to.
AJ has wanted the Commanders for a while.
Yes.
It's a beautiful story. It's a wonderful story. If you're around the NFL, you're watching the Commanders be able to turn it all on its head in 1 year. New vision, new vibe, new attitude, new people in important positions. Your franchise can no longer be absolute shite. You can actually go on and win. So people are pulling for the Commanders, I think, and naturally so. What was the percentage of money on the Washington Commanders?
69%.
What was 69%?
It moved the percentage.
69% is a big amount of money on the Commanders. +6. Those have hit before.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Commanders. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah.
At home, favored by 6. Backdoor cover scares me.
You know why you did that?
Why is that?
It's in your blood. Born and raised on defense and running football.
That's right. Just like Coach Sirianni's dad said.
O-line, D-line, Howie. O-line, D-line.
When I saw AQ have the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line as number 1 and then rank the Eagles as number 6, I said that goes against everything that I believe about football. And it also, I think, goes against everything you've been pitching about football. I still think their offensive line is able to win games. I still think, even though Jalen Hurts is banged up or hasn't had anywhere near the season that everybody has projected through the sky, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, obviously they're going to have their moments where they have to read inner excellence or inner highness.
Sure.
Inner excellence to kind of get motivated back. But give me the Eagles at home. Shout out to the Commanders, though. That was awesome. And then the 6:30 game on CBS with Tony Romo on the call. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Stop if you've heard this before. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Now Josh and Pat. This is the rivalry that we need in football, more specifically in the AFC. One young stud on a hunt to be called the GOAT before he even turns 30 years old. The other hunting for at least a little bit of respect and appreciation. Has never won an MVP. Has had over 40 touchdowns for the last 3 years. Is playing his best ball with a team that doesn't have anywhere near the amount of notable names that it has had in the past. The Buffalo Bills travel to the home of the Chiefs as 1.5 point dogs. AJ, who do you like? How do you like it?
So I have officially waffled on this one. I was originally, my instincts were thinking, hey, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I'm going to ride with these guys. Listen to Bill speak a little bit about it. Watching Deion Dawkins speak throughout the weeks. I'm taking the Bills here, +1.5. Josh Allen, I think they find a way to get it done. It's going to be the atmosphere is going to be brutally tough for Buffalo, but I think they're going to gain a ton of confidence, a ton of juice from going in there and find a way to win.
I love this Buffalo Bills team. I do. You watch the film, you think they're a better team than the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember, the Kansas City Chiefs, this isn't a good Kansas City Chiefs team.
No.
Nope.
Now they're the number 1 overall seed. They have the best record in football, but they haven't played great. They've been outgained numerous times. They've turned the ball over whenever nobody thought. Now they haven't for 8 games. Their defense wasn't as sound early. Wait, is this the Chiefs team that we've been? And all they do is win. All they do is win. Travis Kelce has come alive. There was a stat about Travis Kelce in the playoffs, and it's just unguardable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
This is when it starts to happen. This is when Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce start doing their bullshit. There it is. There it is.
This is crazy.
Yeah, unguardable. Here's the yardage totals for his last 14 playoff games. Yeah, he goes bananas. 71 yards, not a good game. Probably had 3 touchdowns in that one if we had to guess. He is unstoppable. So is Patrick Mahomes. Spags is going to be able to dial something up to stop Josh Allen, I think. Slow down Josh Allen, not stop Josh Allen. Amari Cooper's probably going to go bananas. This is going to be a good one. I like the over.
Okay.
I like this to be a shootout in the freezing cold. I like the fact that Taylor Swift's going to be there. We don't know if Caitlin Clark's going to be there.
Don't know.
Give me the Chiefs, because the Chiefs is still the Chiefs until the Chiefs ain't the Chiefs. And the only time the Chiefs ain't going to be the Chiefs is when somebody beats them in the playoffs, and nobody's been able to do it. So I think the Chiefs go to their third straight Super Bowl. And I'm not going to give away my pick for the Super Bowl, but you probably know where I'm headed.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs. We appreciate you. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills, who I love. But I think the Chiefs win the AFC yet again. I mean, their owner's last name is on the trophy. So let's never, ever forget that. All right. From all of us to all of you, shout out to DoorDash, by the way. Whatever you need, you can get it.
Shout out.
I had to get some cold medicine through DoorDash. I had to show my ID at the door.
Oh, yeah.
Which I respect and appreciate that they're able to deliver some cold medicine. Let's not be building meth. Let's not be making meth.
Nope.
Let's make sure you're old enough to be able to do it. DoorDash got your back. You want food? They got your back. You want 5-star restaurants? They got your back. You want ghost kitchens that are just cooking for DoorDash? They got your back. Shout out to DoorDash. We appreciate you.
Shout out DoorDash.
Multiple seasons now, DoorDash has been with us.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
It changed the world. DoorDash changed the world, for real.
1,000,000%. Shout out to DoorDash. Some people say football changes the world. I agree. And on Sunday, the world will go from to two great games coming on Sunday. Saturday night main event tomorrow night on NBC is going to be electrifying, and we'll be back for Overreaction Monday. Thank you all so much for allowing us to do this for a living. You're the greatest people on earth. Talks to the table, great work this week.
Hey, you too, man. Way to battle.
Yep.
AP Tone, way to go, pal.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, Tony.
Boys in the back, that's what we're talking about.
Hey, boys.
Woo! Graphics department, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk, still talk, yeah.
Yeah.
The national championship was on Monday.
Yeah. Crazy.
That was just a few days ago.
Friday.
Impossible.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
It's the same week.
Same
Blew
week.
my mind, too.
Ooh, wow.
Life's rolling. Life's flying. Every once in a while, you got to stop and say, hey, life is good. It could be much worse. Remember that. It could be dead. We're lucky to wake up every day. And although everybody goes through shit, some much more severe than others, let's never forget that we could be 6 feet under and not doing any of this. So let's try to find the silver lining. Let's try to find the good. Let's cut out the negative bullshits, and let's enjoy this life. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're in this thing together. Team on me, team on three. 1, 2, 3, team. Goodbye.